Yeah, time to welcome the world and welcome everybody watching on Red Bull TV. This is the place to be. Your Crankworx World Tour, stop number 1, Rotorua, New Zealand. My name is Brad J, your host announcer for Crankworx, and I'm joined by the legendary freerider himself. No big deal, right? Cam McCall. Cam, talk to me. We're standing on this Hero Dirt. 20 of the best freeriders about to do battle out here. What are we going to see today, man?
Brad, the stage is set. This is going to be a ridiculous day of competition out here. The dirt is perfect. We got some sunshine. 20 of the world's best slopestyle competitors going to have 2 runs to stomp their epic dream line. I can't wait to see what they're going to throw out.
I'll tell you what, you couldn't even get Cam off this course. He was riding it the other day, lap after lap. And let's take a look at what this course looks like through Cam McCall's eyes. Check it out.
Here we are at the top of the slopestyle course at Crankworx Rotorua, the first huge diamond event of the season, and the first time there's been a diamond event in New Zealand. It just so happens to be the best slopestyle course in the history of the sport. Everybody is just buzzing with excitement on the first day of practice. Thankfully, we've got an amazing course here. Everybody's doing ridiculous tricks already in the first 2 hours of practice. So let's go check it out and see what we have in store. Everybody in slopestyle always wants big jumps. The riders want big jumps, the fans want big jumps, and what this course has is big jumps. It kind of looks fake. It's so massive. When you're coming into this thing, you feel like you're going to lose all your speed, but you're coming in so fast from that jump before that it just flows perfectly into it. Having big jumps is great, but making them work properly is pretty hard, so Kelly and Tom have done an amazing job because already in practice, people are doing finals level tricks on this jump right here. So here's the on-off box. It's got a traditional Maori carving here called a waharoa. Pretty cool, adding the local flavor to the course. This part of the course looks really gnarly, but it's built so properly that it flows like a dream. So with a course like this where everything's perfectly trickable, strategy is going to be the name of the game. So these guys got a lot of work to do, practicing all week, and all we got to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. History will be made here at Crankworx Rotorua. It's going to be a doozy.
Oh, you got that right. It is definitely going to be a doozy, and you can join the conversation and do it in a big way. Hashtag CWX Rotorua, CWX Live. That's hashtag CWX Rotorua and hashtag CWX Live. Well, that's what Cam thinks about the course. What do you think? Chime on in. We want to hear from you. All right, let's break it down so far. What has been happening out here in Rotorua? Take a look. Well, we started with speed and style. That was the first webcast, your Mons Royale dual speed and style. And we saw the return of the big Swede, Martin Soderstrom.
So good to see him back on his game. He's battled injury, and it always is great to see a crowd favorite stand on the podium again, and I know it's going to boost his confidence.
And then we kind of changed our direction to your Crankworx Downhill presented by IXS. And you can see the course giving some people some problems, but I'll tell you what, the one guy it wasn't giving problems to, Elliott Jackson.
Man, another Cinderella story. Coming back out of retirement is Elliott Jackson, thinking he's just going to come out here and have a blast. He ended up in 2nd place on the podium.
Yeah, he led that for a long time, but then here you go, the spoiler, the Frenchman, Loic Bruni, coming out swinging and taking down that top time for about 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely a big gap there between the top couple guys, and you know, they're putting it down hard, and can't wait to see what the rest of the stops on the Crankworx series has with these guys starting out with some podium finishes.
And there's the Frenchman celebrating. And then one of the core events out here, always your Pump Track Challenge, presented by RockShox. What a cool vibe that was, Cam.
Pump Track Challenge was a blast. It started out as just a mellow, fun evening, everybody hanging out, friendly competition, but as we started boiling down those brackets, man, we saw some game faces and people were putting it on.
Yeah, it did get serious, and we saw a wave. First time ever in mountain biking, a wave going on. But when it was all said and done, the big winners, Annika Bertine taking the win for the ladies, and Just Wichmann taking the win
Just
for the guys.
Wichmann came out of retirement as well. It seems to be a good theme here. Everybody should try that. Retire, come back, land on the podium. Seems to be a good strategy.
Then your Giant Toa Enduro, I tell you what, 7 stages, 7 burly stages, man.
I can't imagine just kind of staying fresh throughout the whole day. 7 stages, about 60 kilometers of riding total, 300 competitors. These guys are just Ironmen out there.
Well, it came down to it. Jerome Clements took the big win, and how stoked was he with a big win out there? Another one of our webcasters, Giant Toa Enduro. Man, it has been so much fun out here, Cam. I mean, you've just been enjoying yourself as well, but we've seen some amazing competition, and I promise today's not going to disappoint, is it?
It's been such an action-packed week already, and to have it capped off with the slopestyle competition this Sunday under beautiful skies and perfect dirt, what are we going to see out there, man?
I don't know. I'll tell you what, you know more than I know. You've been out there running this course. We saw that a little bit earlier, and how amazing is this place as far as the dirt goes? I mean, I've heard it called Brown Pow. I've heard it called Hero Dirt. I've heard it called so many different things. But what do you think about this place?
I feel like everybody accepted the invitation to Rotorua because it's New Zealand and you hear great things, you want to come experience it for yourself, but then realizing this is actually one of the most perfect places to hold a Crankworx event in the entire world. Not to, you know, beside the fact that it's in New Zealand and it's a fun vacation, the dirt here is second to none.
So when you first heard that we were coming out here and Crankworx World Tour was going to be a 3-stop tour, what were your first thoughts about coming to New Zealand?
In terms of slopestyle, I think having a 3-stop series is what we've always needed. Similar courses throughout the 3 stops all across the world. We got New Zealand, and then we got France, and we got the granddaddy of them all, Whistler. So I feel like the sport has evolved to a point where, you know, we've finally gone through the growing pains, and this is the epitome right here. This is the highest benchmark of this competitive form.
Yeah, indeed, it sure is. Being out here in Rotorua, New Zealand is absolutely amazing stuff out here. And I'll tell you what, 3-stop tour, pretty darn cool stuff out here in Rotorua.
Absolutely.
So many of you may be wondering, what brings these world-class athletes out here to Rotorua, New Zealand? Cam, I think you can explain this one.
Well, New Zealand is a truly amazingly beautiful country, and everybody wants a good excuse to make it down here. Fortunately for mountain bikers, now you have a perfect excuse. When we heard there's a Crankworx stop coming to Rotorua, New Zealand, it was, you know, the great opportunity to hop on a plane, get down to the Southern Hemisphere, and see what this place has to offer. The beauty is obvious, but the riding terrain is really the thing that's doing it for us. The quality of the dirt, the quality of the weather, it's just, you know, it's a little tropical paradise down here.
Well, Rotorua, a truly amazing place to be and truly amazing place to ride. Rotorua, New Zealand, Crankworx #1. All right, and that's the big granddaddy course. Everything coming up for you. You see it here in Rotorua. Then we got France, and then, of course, what do you love being out there in Whistler? You're on the podium out there before, so you know what that's all about. But I'll tell you what, being here is, seeing is believing. If you've never been here before, you got to come out here. It's just amazing stuff what Skyline Bike Park has put together out here to put amazing competition in here. It's just awesome to be part of it.
Yeah, there's a statistic that I heard people throwing around that 1/3 of the population here rides bikes, and I definitely don't think that's an exaggeration. Just hanging out in the pits, talking to people, the locals, they follow all the bike videos, they follow all the competition results, and they're ridiculously enthusiastic to have this come right to their backyard.
And it's kind of a helmet thing. Didn't you get in trouble for riding without a helmet? Did I hear that?
Yeah. No, I learned the hard way. There's a helmet law. You can't ride around the street on the town without a helmet on. So the only thing I had was a full face, so I've been running a full face helmet every day, pedaling back from the venue to my hotel. Luckily, he didn't lock me up.
All right, I'll tell you what, someone who's so instrumental in making things happen down there, he's built the course. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but we're going to set it down. 3rd member of our team, standing by with him right now.
Hey, thanks very much, guys. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Kelly McGarry. Now, Kelly, you've been getting compliments all week on this course that you built, and now you get to compete on it today. What's that going to be like?
Yeah, it's going to be great to compete on the course that myself and Tom built here in Rotorua. Yeah, the course works really well, and we're just really stoked on how it turned out, and it's going to be so cool to see everyone compete on the course and throw some crazy tricks.
Tell me about the features that we're going to see today.
So yeah, we got one of my favourite features, I guess, is like the start drop. It's got a bit of a Kiwi touch to it. It's got some traditional mouldy carvings on it, and yeah, it looks the part, and it really works really well. A really fun drop to ride, and some crazy tricks will be going down for sure.
Do you think that gives you an advantage that you built this course and now you're competing on it?
Yeah, can't everyone ask that? But I guess I just end up having the same amount of practice as everyone else because we're pretty busy actually just building the course. So. Yeah, not really, but I'm stoked to ride it anyways.
Well, good luck, Kelly. I can't wait to see you around. Guys, back up to you.
All right, up here in the booth, Crankworx World Tour, stop number 1, Rotorua, New Zealand. We have head judge for all 3 stops on the Crankworx World Tour, Paul Rack, with us. Paul, what are we looking for out here with these competitors today?
We're looking for full domination of this course, tricking every feature and pretty much nailing it.
Starting out the season right now, I know the riders are nervous. They've been doing their homework, trying to figure out what tricks are going to take them to the top this year. But it's also got to be nerve-wracking for the judges, too. You've been studying the riders, following Instagram, and seeing what maybe you can foreshadow for the rest of the year?
Absolutely. We not just watch these riders over the course of the year, we watch some of their videos they put up, and we see what they're doing. And there's always going to be a little left in the bag for the show.
It sounds a little creepy, dude, that you're kind of spying on them right there, but I know it's a part of the deal. But every year, the progression just gets burlier and burlier. Talk a little bit about the progression.
You know, every year we get surprised, and I'm hoping for a surprise this year again, even at this event. So we kind of let the riders do the talking, we do the judging. Well, it's time to check in with Hannah Bernard, standing by with one of the dudes that's favored here in the mix today. Let's send it down to Hannah. Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I am here with Brett Reeder, the one and only, just ahead of the Crankworx Rotorua Slopestyle. Brett, how dialed is this course today?
Yeah, the course is running good. It's actually starting to steam right now because the sun's hitting it for the first time. Kelly nailed it. He put the most insanely trickable features all in a row, and I don't know. Sun's coming out. It's looking to be a nice day now.
And we were talking earlier about the Triple Crown title. Now, you said it might be kind of hard for one guy to win all 3 of the slope styles in Crankworx this year, but you said you had a goal. What is that goal?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be hard, whether it's, you know, if someone does end up winning all 3, it's a great little bonus, but I think my goal is to stop someone from winning all 3. So, you know, we'll see how it goes.
And the way to stop someone is to win it. You got 2nd in Whistler last year in this event, so best of luck out there today. Guys, back up to you.
Oh, well, you got to give it up. That's Brett Reeder. I mean, an amazing year. It was like flip-flop between Brett Reeder last year and Brandon Semenuk all the way through the FMB Diamond Series.
That's true. That's how it was, and it's so killer to have that insight from that interview right there. He said he's going to try to stop someone from winning all 3. You know, I'm sure he would love to win all 3, but, you know, that's a secondary plan, is to make sure if there's someone, you heard the way he said someone, you know, with the way everybody's been practicing, I know that's someone who he's talking about, but who knows what level everybody else is on already.
Yeah, and we talk about, too, the fact that the Crankworx is a world tour. Now, yeah, we've had 2 stops in the past, but now stepping up for 3. Why is 3 stops better than 2? Is more better?
Because Triple Crown sounds so cool. Think of Kentucky Derby, Belmont Stakes. I know last year in those horse races, there was a horse that won 2 of them, but he didn't win 3, so it's not easy whether you're a horse or a human.
All right, well, a lot of people want to know what to watch for when you're watching an amazing competition like the ones that get thrown down at Crankworx, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot to watch for. But Cam, my question to you is, what do you watch for?
Crankworx Slopestyle. In this ever-evolving form of competition, the riders are constantly changing the way they have to strategize a run. Coming into this season, everybody's had time to train, and they've been thinking about those judging criteria, trying to figure out how to put together a run that's going to please the judges and land themselves on the top of the podium. One of those categories is amplitude. A guy who embodies amplitude like nobody else is Anthony Missouri. He exploded onto the scene in 2011, going higher than anybody ever has above the Boneyard Slopestyle course in Whistler, BC. He's landed on the podium from high heights years before, and he's looking to do that again. Trick difficulty, the guy who really has this figured out is Nikolai Rogakin. He comes from a BMX background where tricks are king, and he's bringing things to the slopestyle game that no other riders are willing to try. Cash rolls, triple whips, he's got them all. Execution has to be an important one, and a guy who really has this figured out is Brett Reeder. The style in which he executes his tricks lands him extra points above others trying the same tricks. Grabbing those pedals, landing perfectly straight is what Brett Reeder thrives in. But at the end of the day, overall impression is what really matters. Doing all those categories we just talked about, but then also adding in originality and progression tricks that nobody's ever seen before in slopestyle competitions. That's how Brandon Semenuk won Crankworx Whistler last year, and that's exactly the way everybody's going to try to land themselves on the podium here.
Oh, man, it's just so exciting, Cam. I mean, We've had to wait since last year. We finished up. Rampage was the last one to go on, but here we are, a new season, and the slate is clear, and anyone can come out on top. We were talking about Brett Reeder. He's the guy who's saying that this could be, he wants to stand in the way of someone else taking all 3 stops.
It's a perfect time to start the season. We usually don't start the season this early because it's still kind of wintry up in North America and Europe and the places where we normally have our competitions. Come down to the Southern Hemisphere, have an event a little bit earlier, give those people who are eager to stand on that podium an early chance.
Well, and you think back, I remember back in, it was August when they unveiled the fact that we're coming out here to Rotorua, New Zealand, and everybody was so excited, the whole mountain biking community, the whole free ride community in itself, and you could see it because they support it. Look at these guys coming out in big style representing out here. But there's a lot of dudes, and we talk about Reeder, we talk about Salmonuk, but there's other guys in this mix too as well.
You know, one that comes to mind is actually Nikolai Rogatkin. The guy trains so incredibly hard, and he has those big banger tricks, kind of like a guy, you know, we're seeing on the screen here, yeah. Cam Zink. That's how he's stood on the top step before. He said it himself. He's beat Brandon Semenuk before, fair and square, and the way he had to do it was by going bigger and badder. So he does those tricks that are maybe a little bit gnarlier than the rest, and that's a strategy that's worked for him in the past, but the game always changes, so you have to be bobbing and weaving as an athlete, figure out what's going to work for you on that day. So who knows what his strategy is out here today.
And Zink, too, if you look back to what Zink has done, first did Joyride back in 2010, so he hasn't won the Joyride in a few years, but he's been so solid at Rampage, got second out there. But how about this guy right here, the silent assassin, if you will, Brandon Semenuk, 6 total Crankworx wins, but the only guy to make it happen 3 times in Whistler, and that's what he did last year. Remember the 3-timer club, that's pretty special with Brandon Semenuk.
You know, there's like certain tricks that I can't even do 3 times, and he's won Crankworx Whistler 3 times. That's just on another level. It's ridiculous. He's a robot.
But you know what I've noticed about him? It seems like there was a lot more pressure on him, like, you know, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago for him. But as things have changed, it seems like he's gotten more comfortable.
Brandon Semenuk does not have much to prove out here. He's pretty much done all there is to do in the sport of freeride mountain bike, and he's done Rampage. He's won Crankworx Whistler 3 times. He's got, I mean, he probably had to get a bigger house just to fit all of his trophies, I'd imagine.
We're going to have to ask him about that if he's got a big trophy room. All right, it's time to check in. 3rd member of our team once again, Hannah Bernard. Let's send it downstairs to the course update. Hannah?
Hey guys, thanks very much. Yes, I'm here at the bottom of the final jump of the Crankworx Rotorua Slopestyle, and what a roller coaster we've had today. About 3 hours ago, it was pouring rain here, and we were kind of worried if this was going to happen, but luckily the New Zealand sun came out to join us, and now the course has dried out. A lot of the riders are saying the course is awesome. They are loving it, just having a little bit of trouble on this final drop, but good thing it's the end of the course. And you know, I was talking to the mayor of Rotorua, Steve Chadwick, and she was saying that this is when New Zealand glistens, is right after a downpour. So I think they might have planned this. It's going to be a great slopestyle today, guys. I'll send it back up to you.
All right, thank you so much. And I'll tell you what, and the one thing, Cam and you and I have talked about, the fact is it's never been rained out. I mean, there's been a couple years that it got close, but it must be the dude upstairs must ride a mountain bike, dude.
I mean, who doesn't? It's almost like the tradition of Crankworx now to have the event just seem like it's going to get rained out or winded out early in the morning, and then something magical happens. As soon as the crowd gets on course, there's this vibe that just envelops everything around and pushes the clouds away.
Yeah, well, for all you free riders that aren't able to make the pilgrimage or the trip out here, you want to see what it's like to ride a course like this? Well, the guy who's helped build the course, Kelly McGarry, he's going to show you on this GoPro course preview with Kelly McGarry.
Hey guys, Kelly McGarry here. Going to take you for a GoPro course preview. All right, here we go. Kick it off with a lip drop. Slope straight down to a big dirt-to-dirt right hip. Then to a nice big step up. Straight into a right hip. Boner, boom. Float to the left hip. Jump up onto the platform. Pop down. Big long dirt-to-dirt double. Straight into the last money Buddha. Woo! That's it. Crankworx Rotorua 2015.
Magaza right there, man. Breaking it down for you. And there's a guy, the big Swede, Martin Soderstrom, what a rough year he had last year and injured most of the year. You can see him, people calling him the Beast, but he is definitely back and getting a win out there in speed and style. But I'll tell you what, the road to recovery was a tough one for Martin Soderstrom. And it is go time, Whistler. Are you ready for your Red Bull Joyride?
Crankworx in Whistler was the first slopestyle contest ever, I think. So it's very prestigious to do good there.
Here we go, dropping in for you next. Silver medalist from last year, Martin Soderstrom.
Going into the second run, I was sitting in second, but I was the last man on the hill and the last man to drop. So I almost felt like it was meant to be. I had the run of my life and it was just the last jump left. Well, as soon as I stopped tumbling down the hill, I was just waiting for the pain to get better, but it was just the opposite way. It just got worse and worse, and that's kind of when I understood that something was wrong.
I knew about Martin's injury because I was watching it at Crankworx. I saw him break his leg and I saw exactly what type of break it was. I knew it was a career-threatening break for any athlete in any sport. He's very lucky. Some athletes don't come back from that injury.
When the doctor said I could ride my bike again, it was just pure happiness and such a relief. But yeah, I must say it was definitely also nervous time. You don't really know how much you've lost in 8 to 9 months off the bike. My self-confidence was growing and I just felt like I was exactly where I wanted to be. But then went too far on the jump and put my foot down and I could feel straight away that it wasn't good. Broken foot again and off the bike for another 3 to 4 months. In one way, the first time around it was a lot easier because I didn't know how much hard work I would have to go through to come back to the top. But this time I know exactly what I have to do and also that it's possible.
And I'll tell you what, man, it's an amazing comeback story, and you feel the pain that you've been injured before. It's so tough to come back from something like that, but he is definitely back, and he is large, and he is in charge. Let's take a look at our start list that we're going to see for you today. We talk about 20 of the best free riders. There they are, Cam. What do you got to say about this?
Well, you know, Simon Pages, he's kind of new to the scene. He's been building those points, try to get into this competition. And this is a diamond event, so this is the stage he's been working so hard to get onto. Same goes for Paul Genovese out of Canada. He's finally on this diamond stage, and he's going to pull out all the stops.
And then you look at the rest of the riders all the way down through it. Now we got these guys. You see Cam Zink in there. Louis Urbo, he's been on it. Logan Pete looks so relaxed today. And then out of USA, Nikolai Rogakin, one of those guys who can shake things up. And then some heavy hitters right there.
As the list goes down, yeah, you start out with the guys who are doing their first diamond event, and then you end with the guys who have won countless diamond events, guys like Brett Reeder, Brandon Semenuk, Anthony Missouri, and Thomas Janon, all guys who are no stranger to the podium, and they're going last. They get a chance to see what everybody's doing and then construct their run, and they earn that spot.
All right, well, if you're wondering how it's going to go down, well, I'll tell you what, this is how it's going to go down. This is for the judging for it, the format to break it down for you here. Pretty simple to do that. What do we got here, Cam?
Well, there's 20 athletes, and the format that we run for slopestyle is 2 runs. Best one counts. So you can start out and have a safety run if you so choose, or you can start out going for the guts right away, trying to get that jugular. And the best run counts, you can throw out the one that doesn't. And the judges, man, they've got the hard job. The riders have a hard job as well, but the judges actually have to be, you know, paying attention to every last little pedal stroke, every last little stomp on the landings, and put a number assigned to each one of those runs. That's not easy.
And is it one of those things you try to step it up and land the run in your head your first shot?
You know, some people do that, and that has definitely taken people to the victory circle before. But, you know, another way to do it is go the safety run. You have something in the bag, and then you can get creative and just kind of throw caution to the wind after that.
Well, it's time to get this thing started. Rotorua, are you ready here in New Zealand to see our first competitor drop in here? Oh, that's way too quiet. Rotorua, are you ready, people?
Oh, man, this is awesome. Simon Pages, I can't wait to see what this kid's got up his sleeve.
All right, we'll drop it in for you right now. Our first competitor, Simon Pages. Here we go.
All right, we're off and running. Simon Pages flip off the start, step down, right in that first dirt-to-dirt right hip with a tough no-hander. into that step up. Looked like a big flip bar spin. You got to take a pedal before that cannon log. Going 360 off of that bad boy. Left hip with a nice tail whip. All right, it's time for the on-off box. Crowd, let's give him, oh no! He just bobbled the bars there on the bar spin. Thank goodness he stopped before falling off the end of that thing. Good composure there. Let's hear it for Simon.
And the crowd getting behind all these rider here.
You know, the funny thing about that feature is it seems like the least consequential feature because it is a step up and kind of one of the smaller jumps on the course. But the consequence lies in the fact that if you don't get your hand on the handlebar before going off that thing, it's about a 20-foot drop. You want to be on your bike for that.
Well, let's see Cam right here. Let's take a look and maybe we can see what went wrong for him.
All clean here on the tail up on the left hip. Coming in, just want to chuck the bars and set up for the step down, but something happened. The hands didn't get on there. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure if he's got a twisted stem or anything, but you can't start from up there. You need more speed, so he's going to take the ladder that's conveniently positioned right there.
So unfortunately for Simon to start things out right there, not the way you want to start it out in a two-run format.
Yeah, you definitely want to finish your first run down in that finish corral and get a score in the bag. If you don't make it all the way down first run, then you're really into a difficult situation where you don't have the luxury of a safety run anymore. You have to go for the jugular in your second run.
Yeah, there's no choice. Well, maybe that's easy too. I mean, it's not easy, but it makes you decide, well, I know what I got to do. Now I got to go for it.
It does take that decision out of the process, but doesn't change that that's a difficult situation to be in.
Paul Genovese, as you can see right now, out of Fernie, BC, is going to be our next athlete to drop in. Remember, once again, people, two-run format here, so you got to try and put it down on one of those runs, and hopefully when you do, it's the best score that you can get out there. Next up, here we go, second at Randstyle back in 2013, 20th place in the FMB overall last year, competing in his first diamond event, 21 years old, doing it for Cro-Mag. Put your hands together for Paul Genovese.
Yeah, Paul Genovese, he is no stranger to the competitive arena, but this is his first diamond level event, so he's on the stage and he's working so hard for it. Big Superman C-grab on that right hip, dirt to dirt. Holding that tuck no-hander high on the step up. Nice 360 off the cannon log, moving right into the left hip with a double tail whip. Oh! That's going to be worth some points, getting that bar spin off the up box. There we go, 360 down. Tuck no-hander on the long and low, coming into the money maker. What's he got for us? Big flip, bar spin, getting a score in the bag. Nice work, Paul Genovese.
Boy, that's got to take some pressure off right there for Paul Genovese, getting that first one in.
All the adrenaline that he had at the top is now just squirting through his veins. It feels so good to get into that finish corral, get a score in the bag. Now his mind's going to be racing. What do I do my second run?
You see him kind of holding that hand out there, shaking a little bit. I'm sure the nerves get to you.
I'm shaking too, man. I know. Oh, man. I'm so pumped for this kid because he's been working so hard to get into the Diamond Series, and here he is right now, putting down his first run, stomping it, making it to the finish corral. And it was a good one, too. We saw that double tail whip, bar spin onto the box with a big 360. He's been working hard. He built a box about that same size to practice on. You know, these guys are taking it seriously. They're pros out there, so they've got to sometimes build similar features. And when these courses are so big, it's kind of hard to build your own training ground that's on the same level.
Well, this is going to be the top score as it comes in right now, since we're into our second competitor right now. And I just had the 23. So a 63 even for Genovese. So he'll grab the top spot with that one with a 63 for Paul Genovese. And now we take our attention back up top. Man in the tank top. I'll tell you what, this man, the year of the Pilgrim I'm talking about was back in 2013. He was your first overall in the FMB rankings. He was third at Joyride back there, second in France, and a couple big wins too as well, and he is ready to make it happen right now. He is 24 years old from Great Britain, doing it for Ennis Bikes. Put those hands together once again for Sam
Pilgrim on course, the backflip table on the step down. Big 360 going for the table on that dirt to dirt. That thing is really hard to spin. Flip whip on the step up. Really high scoring run going so far at the 360 again on the cannon. Going for the smooth laid out, lazy tail up on the left hip. On-off box with a tuck no-hander going up. A huge flat drop backflip going down. It is on, folks. 360 in the long and low. One last jump, the money maker. It's going to be a Superman backflip.
You can see the reaction out of Pilgrim.
Pilgrim is here to play. The 2013 FMB World Tour champion is back on the tour here in 2015, and he means business.
Couple of pedals off, but yeah, a bit of pedaling there I saw.
Yeah, we're just hearing some of the audio from him here and talk about his run down there at the end. Some great job out there, Sam Pilgrim. Take a look at these replays here, Cam.
He tricked every single feature, and it was great tricks on every single one of them. The one that really stands out for me is backflipping off this drop. It is so hard to backflip when you don't have a lift to help get you there. And that's the first time I've personally seen him do it on a full suspension bike. He's traditionally competed on hardtails. I would imagine it's a little bit harder with the rear suspension back there, but did not seem to slow him down at all.
So judges, Paul Rackhead judge, and the judges downstairs below us here putting the score in. Let's see what that is for Sam Pilgrim. And a 69.66. Hello to the top spot for Sam Pilgrim right there with a 69.66.
Sam Pilgrim is the first guy we saw doing that flat drop backflip in competition back at the Claymore Challenge. He kind of pioneered that move.
Oh yeah.
And now it's a huge move, man. If you have that, that just it gives you so much weight to your entire run.
And now we get our attention focused one more time up top, and man they call PlayStation coming up for you next. A Crankworx Best Trick winner back in 2010, and a Crankworx Joyride winner back in 2009, and a couple top 10 finishes on the FMB in 2011. It was 8th for him and 7th in 2010. He's ready to do things right now. Originally out of Santa Cruz for Mongoose. Put your hands together. Coming up next for you, Greg Watts.
Please apologize. No need to apologize, Greg. Just stomp that run. You got this. All right, Greg Watts dropping in. He's no stranger to the top step of the Crankworx Podium. Backflip suicide off the step down. He's one of the only guys you're going to see doing that. Getting a little bit of a straight air on the next jump. But making up for it for a backflip double bar spin on the step up. Nice 360 off the cannon. He's got a great run going here so far. Really original. Unfortunately, we've got 2 straight airs, but he can make up for it. There's a couple more hits left on the course. Big bar spin off the drop. Coming into the dirt and dirt, long and low. Moneymaker, one last chance to, boom, big bar spin to X up backflip.
Sounds. So Greg Watts, so they got it pounded in the heart right there, and definitely indeed in this 2-run format, Greg Watts finishing off right there. Run number 1 for him. The score he's trying to beat is that 69.66 that we saw Pilgrim just lay down, and Paul Genovese with a 63. So our top 2 scores, they're beatable with a 63, and of course the 69.66. So we'll take a look at the replays here, Cam.
Man, that was an awesome run. Obviously, a couple things he can brush up into his second run, but some of those bangers that he was able to pull off, that backflip suicide off the first step down, was something really unique. You won't see a lot of people doing. Nothing up the box, bar spin down. And you know that trick on the step up, it may have been a flip bar to bar back. It's kind of hard to tell through the woods there, but flip bar spin to X up, finishing it off. Great run for Greg Watts.
So 50.66.
Off the first one, and then
I saw that slow you down.
from like didn't do the trick, but I got blown off the flat drop too.
Yeah. And now we take it back up top once again, and your brother now coming up for it, T-Mac.
Yes. How long do I have? How long? Yeah. Good luck, guys.
T-Mac right now locked and loaded. Our next guy to come in for you, whip champion at Crankworx in 2012, FMB overall 2013, and a solid finish back in 2012, a top 5 finish for him right now, and he is ready to go. Here we go, T-Mac.
Nothing like watching your brother compete in slopestyle, rooting so hard for him right here with a backflip off the start tower step down, going for the top no-hander to table on the second jump. Going for the backflip bar spin, and perhaps not able to spin them on that step up. Tabletop off the cannon. Nice, clean, slow, lazy laid out tail up on the left hip. Getting a 1-foot X up. Just gaining speed off the drop to come into this long low. The tuck no-hander. Last chance to throw a huge trick here, Ty. Big backflip, Superman attempt. Way to go, feet right back on the pedals.
I mean, how exciting is it for you, Cam, seeing your brother out there? You're announcing his runs.
It's pretty nerve-wracking, to be honest. You know, we've been riding together our whole lives, and And I love seeing him do well, so I'm rooting so hard. And I heard him talking about the wind up there, so that kind of makes me feel a little uneasy when you have your brother on the course. He's talking about wind, but he was able to make it down into the finish corral safe and sound. Let's see what he did on his way down there. Clicking the table, buzzing the shoulder on the tire there on that cannon. Nice smooth tail up. One of his favorite moves there, 1 foot X up. Just gaining the speed off the drop, and then he finished off with that backflip Superman on the last jump.
Taking a look at our judges right now, making a decision right there. There's T-Mac down in the mix. We're waiting for that score to come in. And score in a 45.66 for him, so he will get into 4th place for USA. T-Mac Tyler McCall.
Good old 4th place there. That's something that runs in our genes, I believe.
Are you saying that in a negative way, man?
No, there's nothing wrong with 4th place.
Yeah.
It's fun to get 3rd, 2nd, or 1st, but.
Good shot here at Skyline Bike Park. Next up, here we go. Kelly McGarry from New Zealand, working on this course. I mean, I've been following his exploits on Instagram, watching all the work he's been doing out here, and here it finally comes, coming to fruition right now with Kelly McGarry to drop in for you next. 3 top 10 finishes last year. 2nd place in 2013 at Red Bull Rampage. And 10th at the FMB2 World Tour ranking. He is ready to go right now. Here comes Magaza.
Kelly McGarry is the man with the plan out here in New Zealand. Backflip off the step down, rolling right into the dirt hit with a front flip. Oh! Wow, perfectly landed front flip on that huge dirt hit. Making it, oh no! He's good, guys.
Yeah, we've seen him go down much gnarlier. That guy could explode bikes.
It was more disappointment than pain there when he was kind of making those gyrations on the ground. He felt so good about landing that front flip on that 2nd feature. And just trying to get refocused after stomping a huge trick like that is super tough. So he kind of landed a little bit sideways on that backflip.
But judges like to see that. You talk about the 2nd feature, going for the fronty on the 2nd feature. That's what they want to see. Not saving it for the end, but putting stuff in early in his run like we're seeing right here.
Well, yeah, to be honest, a front flip on that jump is probably going to score higher than a front flip on the last jump because it's dirt to dirt, it's slightly hipped, and it's really, really long. So doing a trick like that on a jump like that carries a lot of weight.
So Kelly McGarry will look to a 2nd run. And we got Carson Storch coming up. And Carson Storch, when the rain cleared today, he was the first guy to get out there on the course. He had the shovel. He was doing course maintenance. That's just how cool this dude is right here. Carson Storch from Bend, Oregon. Of course, that's where you live now, Kim. 8th in Joyride 2013. Some of his inspiration, Kurt Voorhees and Jamie Goldman, inspiration to this man right here. Our next rider coming in, doing it for Diamondback. Let's hear it for Carson Storch.
Carson Storch been training real hard. I've had the luxury of riding with him every day at home leading up to this competition. So pumped to see this run right now. Let's hear it for Carson Storch. Big truck driver off the start tower. Wow. Carrying speed right into the long and low here. He's got to make up speed. He tagged a little bit. You need to start pedaling. Big backflip. Making up for it. He's back on track here, folks. Finding the flow. Big tail up off the cannon. 360 downside tail up. That's actually an opposite rotation as well. Bar spin up. Huge 360 on the drop. Long and low backflip. This is a great run so far. What's he got on the last jump? A 720. Can he land it?
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Give it up for Carson Storch, going for it big time.
Carson pulling out all the stops in his first run. He does not know the definition of a safety run, going for the 720 on the moneymaker after a banger run at the top of the course.
And like you said, definitely a banger run all the way through, top to bottom. That last one, that 7, just getting away from him, Cam.
Oh, you know what's so cool, too, is that downside 360 tail up that he did on the hip is an opposite rotation. That 720 is a regular rotation, so kind of really strategizing, knowing what the judges want, knowing how they judged last season, and just going for the jugular right out of the gate.
Well, let's take a look at these replays here.
You know, that drop is so huge, but he doesn't even head bob when he lands it because he's putting his bike right in the perfect spot. The 720 is just getting a little bit rear heavy on that and a little tiny bit short. You know, another thing that was great about that run is his composure.
All right, let's set it down to Hannah standing by with Carson Storch. Hannah?
There.
Yeah, so right off the bat, I hit like a greasy part in the flat bottom coming into the first double. And I almost went down, and then I just took a pedal and hit the second jump, and then from there I was just kind of like, yeah, just kind of hacking it together. Wasn't flowy from the start, so yeah, try and clean it up next round.
Any tricks up your sleeve for run number 2?
Pretty much saw it. Yeah.
All right, well, congratulations. Good luck on your next run.
All right, so the score in for Carson Stort's going to be a 47 even for Carson Stortz. And he said it right there. No surprises. All he needs to do, clean up, land that 7. And you got to think that that's going to be a good score for Carson.
He knows exactly what he has to do, and as a young competitor, being able to keep your head on straight after a slight mistake at the top of the course and still throw out those huge tricks at the bottom, he's got the head game figured out.
Well, here we go. So far, Watts in that 3rd spot. Then you got Genovese in 2nd, and Pilgrim, your leader right now, just barely below the 70s with a 69.66. So Sam Pilgrim is your leader right now. We are in run number 1. And coming up for you right now, Thomas Zeta is going to be our next competitor to go here. Zeta ready, focus. You can see that game face cam from Zeta up top.
And Zeta, the pace is how he goes for his results here. He's click, 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 trick, trick, trick. So many tricks he can pack into one jump. Big truck driver to X off the step down. Going for a big Superman tail whip on the dirt to dirt hip. That step up jump, it's going to be a suicide to bar spin for Thomas Zeta. Carrying momentum up the cannon with a click 360 tabletop. Big tail up on that left hip. We're into the on-off box, folks. A 360 tail whip up with a huge smooth 360 down. Set up jump, he's going to be carrying speed. The money maker, it's going to be a backflip tail whip perfectly to pedals, claiming it into the finish corral. Amazing run for Thomas Zeta.
Puts it down on run number 1 for Thomas Zeta. That is exactly what you want to do. 12th in your FMB overall, but putting down a good one right here. Rotorua, you know what to do. Let's hear it for Thomas Zeta one more time. Come on. All right, let's go ahead and dissect this for us here, Cam.
You know, as a competitor, Brad, you were talking about you got to do what you do. And what Thomas Zeta does is he just goes click, 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 trick, trick, trick. He packed so much into that run, and the execution was on point. I got to think the judges are really tabulating a high score here.
All right, so the score coming in, trying to beat a 69.66. That's what Sam Pilgrim has, and he's in that top spot. Does Thomas Zeta do it? The Czech Republic doing it for Dartmoor. Score coming in. 74.66. Thomas Zeta into the number 1 spot. Nicely done. Let's send it down to Hannah. Standing by with Thomas. Hannah?
All right, guys, I'm here with our new leader in the Crankworx Rotorua Slopestyle, Thomas Zeta. How good does it feel to have that out of your pocket?
I'm so pumped. I exactly did what I wanted to do, but I have a little bit surprised for the second run. I hope it will work and it will be okay.
What did you say before you dropped in just now?
I don't know exactly, but I'm feeling okay, but need some water, more chill, and I have to focus for second round.
All right, well, we can't wait to see all the surprises you have. Back up to you guys.
Oh, what do we got? We got a little surprise coming up.
I love that, man. Just playing the drama. That was such a huge run, and to hear that he's got even more in the tank, breaking through the 70s on that first run.
Yeah, look at Paul Genovese now. He is in the 3rd spot. Sam Pilgrim is bumped down to number 2, and Thomas Zeta now setting the bar, so to speak, with the 74.66. And he says he's got a surprise for us on run number 2, man.
Man, I can't wait to see what that is. As Thomas clicked his way through that run, we're getting through the field here, and we're into the 70s in the scores.
All right, Antoine Bazette now is going to take to this Rotorua slopestyle course, and I know that I hear what you're saying right now. So 18th overall last year in the FMB, first in the white style last year, and here we go, Antoine Bazette.
Antoine Bazette, straight airing, the step down at the start, just getting speed for a big old flat spin on that hip. This is the jump I want to see him on right here. Backflip bar spin. Antoine Bazette is one of those guys who pulls stuff out of nowhere, and there's some really trickable jumps to come. Another big flat spin here on that hip. 360 up onto the tower, X up down. A front flip on the long and low, are you kidding me? Right into a casserole, can he land it?
He lands it! The casserole to put the exclamation point on that run.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me. The last 2 hits on that run, front flip to casserole.
How do you score that compared to all the other riders out here today?
Oh, I can't wait for the replay on this one.
Oh my goodness, get some oxygen up here in the booth. Cam's getting excited. Checking out what he just laid down for us.
Okay, these are the ones that were kind of the big staples in this run. The front flip over the 40-foot dirt-to-dirt long low, so hard to trick, nonetheless a front flip right into the cash roll. We haven't even seen him do that too much in competition. That's a really hard trick. There's only a few people doing that, and they save it for the big events like this one.
Indeed, and there's the judges hard at work down below us here in the booth trying to put a score to that run. That is a tough one.
I told you, he comes out with surprises, man, and there he was, first run right out of the gate.
So what is the score? He's trying to beat a 74.66. So that's the score. Trying to beat, and some big heavy hitters still to come out here. So that's just trying to get up there possibly in the high 70s, maybe low 80s, depending on what the judges are going to think at this point.
Now, think back, though. He had an amazing end to that run, but he did not trick that start feature. I wonder how big of a role that's going to play in his score.
A good call right there. And the score in a 60 even. So fourth place, you called it right there. Not tricking that one feature, and that's what the judges want to see. Trick every single feature.
Well, and the level of competition is so high now, and you have 9 really trickable features, so you have to have at least 9 tricks in your run. Even if one of them's a front flip on a ridiculously hard jump to trick, and then a cash roll at the end, you still got to trick every single jump. There's a guy who knows that right there.
Yeah.
How long we got?
Oh, yeah, Cam Zink. Let's listen in.
See you guys at the bottom.
Hear the words from Cam Zink. See you guys at the bottom.
Yeah, dude.
Well, here we go. Second at Rampage last year. Second at Red Bull Joyride 2011. Won it all in 2010. Here we go. Next up, it's Cam Zink.
Cam Zink dropping in, front flipping the start, step down. Come on. It was so smooth. Right into a cannonball off the second jump. Oh, he's off to a great start here. Cork 720 on the step up. Oh, no. Oh.
And that one gets away from him, but he is up and he is okay. Let's hear it for Cam Zink.
The start of that run was going so well. Front flipping off of that start step down. I mean, we're seeing a lot of front flips out here. That's usually a trick reserved for the most perfect trick jump on the course, but this is 2015, Brad.
Watch how nutty this is off the start. Check this out.
Oh my goodness. He didn't even have any head bob when he landed. He got right on the pedals, and that cannonball Superman was nicely extended. He had all the momentum in the world going into that Cork 720, just a little bit too far on the back end of the bike and a little bit short.
Unbelievable. So taking a look at our leaderboard here in just a moment for you, seeing how it's going so far. More riders coming up, ready to battle it out here, but a huge crowd on hand. Here we go.
He's making his way back down to the finish corral.
Genovese in third, Sam Pilgrim, Thomas Zeta in that #1 spot, and that's how it looks so far here in #1. So continuing on with run #1 for all of our competitors out here. So 2-run format, and here comes Logan Pete, man. I talked to him earlier and just kind of hanging out a little bit. He looks really calm, he looks cool, he looks collected. It looks like it's just nonchalant, like just another day of the office for Logan Pete.
Well, you know, he does spend most of the days in the office. He trains with the world #1, his training partner, of course, being Brandon Semenuk. So what better of an environment could you possibly imagine if you're going to be a top contender on the F&B World Tour, the Crankworx series, than training with Brandon Semenuk?
But I mean, you would think in a big competition like this, when you're about ready to compete with the best of the best, 20 of the best free riders in the world, he comes out and just talking to me. He says, "Oh yeah, hey, how you doing, Brad? Good to see you." I'm all calm and just relaxed and doing his thing. And I think that's more dangerous when it comes down to it. You think that you got to think it's a little bit more dangerous for the rider.
You know, when you get into a routine and you're so comfortable doing these difficult tricks every day, especially on these types of features, it's something that he's accustomed to. So there's no real reason to kind of be uneasy. It's familiar territory for him once he gets out here.
All right, well, let's check in with more from Hannah Bernard, a third member of our team, with more on the competition. Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm down here at the bottom of the last jump of the Crankworx Rotorua Slopestyle. I've been chatting with some of the guys. They're not very happy with their first runs, but it's good to get it out of their system. They're ready to bring all of the stops out in the second run. Talked to Antoine Bizet. He wasn't happy with his score, so he's going to bring some big surprises in his run number 2. Back up to you guys.
Good stuff. Out of Hannah right there. Nice to see Greg Watt smiling. I think that's got to be a big relief. I mean, you know, you've been in this position, Cam. You get one run in, you got to feel pretty good.
You just want to get right back up to the top before the adrenaline kind of weans away.
Looking forward to more runs coming up right here in Rotorua, New Zealand. Stop number 1. All right, time to head back up to the top and get more of these riders in here on this 2-run format. And here's a look at Logan Pete, who we were just talking about a little bit ago. 25 years old from the Sunshine Coast, doing it for Santa Cruz. 9th in the FMB overall 2014. Had a 3rd place finish, got the podium in Andorra also. And the thing about Logan, just missing the podium last year at Joyride in that 4th spot. Could this be his year to get on the podium at the Joyride competition or a slopestyle competition?
He's on a great steady climb right now. He's got some results to back up all the work he puts in. And, you know, he knows exactly what to do right now. Logan Pete dropping into the truck driver off the start step down. Running that dirt-to-dirt hit with a double tail whip. Such a hard jump to double tail whip. Backflip bar spin to tuck no hander on the step up. Just trick, adding up those points. Opposite 360 off the cannon. Truck driver on the left hip. He's just definitely putting together a highly strategic run.
Nice.
Backflip up. Opposite 360 down. He stomps it. Long and low is going to be a tuck no hander, carrying all the speed to the moneymaker booter with a flip whip. He's got the pedals. That's a perfect run.
What I was saying when I talked to him, he just looked so calm and cool. I got to think that that's a good combination to be relaxed going into a competition of this nature.
He knew what he wanted to do, and he knew exactly how to execute it. And when it all comes to fruition, it's just the greatest feeling in the world. Look at that smile on his face.
Let's see if we can take a look at what an amazing run. See if the judges see it that same way.
Oh, yeah, let's break this down. Going opposite 360 off the cannon. That's a tough feature to spin the opposite direction on. Going regular truck driver on the next hip. Back flipping up, rolling right into, once again, an opposite rotation off. He's choosing the difficult parts of the course to do opposite tricks. That's like signing your name, your signature, with your opposite hand and having it look perfect.
Here we go. He's done it in 83.33, right into the top spot for Logan Pete. Nicely done.
With a big old numero uno digital alongside his name. That's got to feel amazing.
So that also sends a message to the riders who still have not gone. Hey, look, if you're going to try and beat me, you're going to need to beat an 83.33. That's what Logan Pete just dropped like a bomb right there. And you heard what he said. That is awesome.
Look at that.
Nice.
He's still cool, collected.
All right, still, see, relaxed. Boy, I tell you what, he's probably got a pulse of 10 right now. So your top 3 right now, Sam Pilgrim, 69.66. Thomas Zeta in that 2nd spot with a 74.66. And your leader, the Canadian, Logan Pete, 83.33. Amazing stuff out of Logan Pete right there, Cam.
Brad, we are into the 80s officially. What does that mean? Are we going to see the 90s today? That was such a ridiculous run, and it's all the stuff we know the judges like. Execution, amplitude, opposite tricks.
All right, let's go back up top to our next rider, and I'll tell you what, if we could pan down to check out what he is rocking, take a look at that getup, man. Thomas Lemoyne.
He's in his element here in the New Zealand jungle.
Man, in a 3rd of the Pump Track Challenge the other night, he didn't bring out the leopard skin for that one, man, but he's bringing it out for the big show here today. Here we go, dropping it next. Thomas Lemoyne, 18 years old.
One of our younger competitors at 18 years old, starting out with a truck driver on the step down. Big 360 on the right hand, dirt-to-dirt hip. Step up is going to be nice, clean backflip bar spin, carrying the speed, not even grabbing a pedal there. 360 X up off the cannon. This is shaping up to be a great one. Backflip tail up on the hip. We have not seen that yet in a run. Again, the double bar spin up. Oh, 360 down. Tuck no hander on the setup jump for the last money maker.
One more to go.
360 tuck no hander to bar spin. How many tricks can you fit into one jump?
I don't know. That was a bazillion, man. Right there. Put your hands together one more time for Thomas Lemoyne, 18 years old from France, doing it for Canyon Bikes. That was big right there.
He definitely represents a new generation growing up watching the history of slopestyle and just taking it to the next level now that he's on the stage.
The pants, though, it's got to be the pants. Take a look at these replays here.
Man, 360 X up. I feel like the majority of the jumps had a variation feature on them. He wasn't just flipping, he was flip whipping. He wasn't just three, he was three tuck to barring. He wasn't just barring, he was double barring. And that 360 down was so smooth, enabling him to carry speed into the last two jumps.
All right, let's send it down to Hannah with the man with the coolest pants in the business.
All right, guys, I'm here with Thomas Lemoyne. Some like to call him Lemonade. Man, you got the style off the course tonight. How are you feeling with that run?
Now pretty good, and just waiting for the second one to go big.
Are these your lucky pants, I gotta ask?
I don't know, because it's a new one actually. My old one was the zebra one, but maybe it could be.
A quiet guy with big fashion taste. Let's see how you do. Your score's coming in just a moment. Good job.
Are we seeing a trend here?
You know
Calm,
what?
cool, collected seems to be working
But
so far.
if he gets a good score, he's probably going to continue to wear these. 79.33 into second place right there for Lemoyne, now in second, and also in the running for King of Crankworx.
Yeah, this guy's been entering himself into a ton of different events out here, really well-rounded, and having a slopestyle result definitely can't hurt for that King of Crankworx title.
There you go, Pilgrim in the 4th spot, Zeta number 3, Lemoyne now number 2, and Pete. Logan Pete, the calm, cool, collect. Logan Pete with an 83.33. Now Louis Ribaud coming up next for you. 21 years old. He's doing it out of France. First at the Swatch Prime Line last year, 5th at Joyride last year. So just top 5 finish is super respectable on that. And 10th in your overall FMB. So he has been on fire the last couple of years, and he just keeps being on the rise. So here we go, Louis Ribaud next.
He's starting this one off with a nice backflip on the step down. Getting a couple pedals into that. Wow, nice tail up on the dirt to dirt. Cannonball trying to get the tuck no hander afterwards. Big 360 on the cannon. Nice flat spin on the hip. He's down to the finishing stretch of this run. Backflip up, 360 down. Oh, backflip on the long and long. Oh, no!
So we're giving Louis Ribaud the time that he needs here. Visibly shaken up after that. That was a big crash by Louis Ribaud. And the greatest medical staff on hand here in Rotorua. Part of Crankworx, going to tend to all of our riders' needs. He's up. It looks like. Here we go. Let's see it right here.
You know what's crazy about that, Brad, is we're going to watch a replay of his run right here. It started out real smooth, tail up in that right-hand hip. Everything was going great until he got down here into the final straightaway. This is the fastest part of the course. He wasn't able to get all the rotation on that backflip. Under-rotating, kind of reminiscent of the massive crash he had at Rampage where he under-rotated a flip on the huge canyon gap. He's up.
He is up, and he looks good. Rotorua one more time. Give it up for Louis Ribaud. So a 30 for Ribaud.
Tough as nails, Brian.
I mean, but unfortunately, because he was having a good run right there, Cam.
Yeah, you hate to see the train go off the tracks when it was going so well to begin with.
Well, a guy that I've just been hyped on ever since I saw him come on the scene. He switched from BMX, changed it up to mountain biking. We talked about Nikolai Rogatkin is up for you next. 2 first-place finishes back in 2014. He was 5th on the FMB Diamond Series rankings, and that's for a kid who no one even knew him a few years ago. Here comes Nikolai Rogatkin.
I got butterflies. Here we go. Starting out double tail up. Can he carry the speed after slipping a slight pedal tucked on hander? He's back on track. Oh, it's going to be a cash roll up top. He sticks the landing. He's still going. Double tail whip on the cannon. We have not seen that yet. Oh, triple tail whip on the hip. Holy cow. Superman seat grab up. What's he going to be off? Another tail whip. He's got 2 more features for you. Carrying speed on the 40-foot setup. Cork 720. Can he land it?
He puts it down. Nikolai Let's hear it for
Oh,
him.
man. That is kind of a historic run. I've never seen a cash roll and a Cork 720 done in the same run.
So the crowd quiet now. Nikolai Rogatkin coming out, and I was talking to him earlier. He's like, he wasn't letting me in on all the tricks that he had planned for today. But now you see
this is one of the runs I was most excited to watch. Double whipping off that cannon. I mean, a tail whip is hard. A double whip is ridiculous. Going for the triple whip on the hip.
Gets it.
Superman seat grab up. Good variety, too, because he's got those straight tricks as well as the rotation ones. A lot of tail whips.
And that second. Well, we're checking the judges, but let's send it down to Hannah, standing by with Nikolai Rogatkin. Hannah?
All right, Nikolai. Dead sailor on that second last jump. What happened there?
Not really sure. So many features on this course, sending it on every jump, and just got a little squirrely, but I'm at the bottom. I'm stoked. All my friends are killing it, and just having a blast out here. Glad to be here at the bottom.
You're known for your innovation. What do you got in store for the second run?
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that run was not exactly what I wanted to do, so I got some time to think about whether I want to keep it safe or send it, but most likely going to send it, so we'll see.
All right, keeping all the secrets to himself. Nikolai Rogatkin, guys, I'll send it back up to you.
Yeah, well, you know, two-run format right there, and you got to think that we'll see what he's got planned for us on the second one. So 77 into third place for Nikolai Rogatkin, and that's for having a straight air on that second to last jump. That's a pretty solid score for having the straight air, showing you just how burly that run was.
You know, it's so tough even to just remember all the tricks you want to do, especially when you've got a trick list like that. If you break it down, that roll had a Cork 720, a cash roll, a triple whip, a double whip. It had so many different tricks, and it's hard to keep those all straight. You know, he's playing the poker game, keeping his cards close to his chest, but, you know,
oh, man, there we go. Martin Soderstrom coming up for, look at that, 2013, Ladies Alp third. Red Bull Joyride second in 2013. Ladies Alp third in 2012. He has been on the comeback trail ever since being injured the whole season last year. But he's a guy that you forget because he's been gone a year. Now he's back. You forget that this guy could win it right here.
You know what's great? In his mind right now, none of that even happened. It doesn't even matter. You know, when something heals, it comes back stronger, and his mental game is stronger than ever. Martin Soderstrom dropping in with a truck driver off the step down. Dirt to dirt hit's gonna be a 360 knack-knack. Really good run going so far. Step up's gonna be a triple tail whip. Count them, 3 tail whips. 360 tuck no hander off the cannon log. We're in for a doozy. Backflip tail up on the hip, landing straight and perfect as ever. Going for the opposite tail whip up. Truck driver down. Oh man, 2 more features. Tuck no hander on the long and low. Moneymaker time, 360 double tail whip, redemption! Oh, come on, yeah!
Are you kidding me? Martin Soderstrom, the return of the big Swede. One more time for Martin out here today.
Martin, using that triple tail whip, man, you know what? He's got all of his confidence back if he's chucking that trick at the end of a run.
Oh, my goodness. Let's take a look at this one and break it down, Cam.
Oh my gosh, that thing was just so packed full of tricks. Flip whipping the hip. We talk about trick and features that are difficult to trick. That would be one of them. Getting the opposite tricks in there with the opposite tail whip up, trucking down. That's considered a huge banger off a drop of that size. Tuck no hander, and then thinking, what is he gonna do? He goes for the 360 double tail, the same trick that took him out a couple years ago at Crankworx when he was going for the win. He's unscathed, Brad.
All right, score coming in. Trying to beat an 83-3-3. Score for Martin Soderstrom. Has he done it? 89.66, your new leader, Martin Soderstrom, dropping a big bomb. Hannah catching up with Martin, your new leader.
All right, the big Swede coming back from an injury last year. How long have you been thinking about a run like that?
Oh, it's been the only thing I've been wanting to do for the last year, so cannot complain about that.
You're coming into the top spot. Do you think this last run was enough to take the podium?
Well, probably not. There's a few good guys up there, but who knows? Everything can happen in slopestyle, and I got another run, so it's all good.
Yes, you do. Run number 2 coming up. Congratulations, Martin. Back up to you guys.
Yeah, good stuff. You know what? It's just such a feel-good story. I said it before. I'll say it again. The return of him. He is such a nice guy and an ambassador to free riding, Martin Soderstrom.
I'm not even kidding. I have goosebumps the size of ostrich eggs right now. That is such a feel-good story.
Well, there you go. Thomas Lemoyne still holding third from Canada. Then you got Thomas Lemoyne from France, Logan Pete from Canada, number 2, and Martin Soderstrom from Sweden with an 89.66. But I mean, the thing is, it's not over yet, because still you got to look at who's still to come. Some big names on the way. So
that's an understatement.
Let's take our attention now back up top, and Sam Reynolds now ready to come on down. Sam Reynolds, third on the Veolia Slopestyle earlier this season. 8th in the FMB overall, 23 years old from Great Britain. Here comes Sam Reynolds.
Sam Reynolds been practicing on a huge step-up trick jump they built down in South Africa. Backflip tabled into straight.
Wow.
Superman seat grab, huge on that dirt-to-dirt right hip. Backflip tail up on the step-up. Carrying speed, grabbing a little bit of a pedal for that tail up off the cannon. We're up and running here. The momentum is high with a double tail up on the left-hand hip. Tuck no-hander up. 360 off the drop, landing nice and straight. There we go, no way, a can-can nothing on the long and low. Ready to backflip can-can, whoa, straight to pedals.
And let's hear it for Reynolds right there. Sam Reynolds from Great Britain, rod number 1 in the books for him. And that's got to be a monkey off your back. Let's listen in.
Yeah, bud.
Stoked, man. Stoked. Stoked. Had some first try Fridays on there.
That's so rad, man.
Taking a look at it right now.
You know, we saw that double tail up on the left-hand hip. We knew things were ramping up. You know what got me really excited after the 360 off this drop was the can-can nothing. Both feet on the opposite side of the bike, hands off. Such a difficult trick to do on a perfect jump, but then do it on a setup jump for the money booter.
And to bring yourself back onto the bike and grab control, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, not just control, but control enough to do a backflip no-footed can-can on the last jump to pedals.
So with that fresh do right there, that thing's looking pretty sweet right there. You know, Pilgrim actually cut his hair, by the way. That's a pretty good story. 78.33 into 4th place for Sam Reynolds on run number 1.
Man, what a good run for Sam Reynolds.
All right, let's go back up top here. Continuing on in our first runs of this 2-run format here, your Crankworx World Tour. Oh, Tommy G. That was a little bit of a smile, but he is 100% focused on the task at hand right now. Tommy G putting himself on the map that year, winning in Crankworx. That was a year you got 3rd out there at the Joyride, right?
Oh, man, it was an honor to share a podium with this guy, and that was just the first of many for him on the Diamond Series.
Well, here we go. Thomas Janon
on course, going for that truck driver on the start tower step down. Double tail whip on that dirt-to-dirt hip. 360 bar to click table, so much style. Oh, he flipped the cannon. I have not seen that one from him yet. He's been doing his homework. He's got that 360 tuck no-hander on the hip. Tail whip up, big 360 down. Setting up with a tuck no-hander into the money booter. What does he have for you? Backflip bar spin, a tuck no-hander, stomping the combo to top off that run.
There's a lot going on in that last hit. Let's hear it from Tommy G. He is all business out here today. He is 100% focused. There's a little bit of a smile. Okay. All right.
Okay. We're going to watch your replay and then
I think that is a second of a smile of relief when you get down to the bottom of this thing and you know you're safe. Check these replays.
So the double whip on this jump, I mean, that is so incredibly difficult. We also saw Logan Pete doing that. You know, not too many people willing to pull that off. The 360 bar spin to table, that's one of Tommy G's signature moves. But the backflip off the cannon has not traditionally been one of his signature moves. He's been practicing, and it shows.
Just look at him just go to work here in the slopestyle course. And now it's all in the judges' hands now. Where did they figure out to put Tommy G after run number 1? Once again, only 2 runs, man. That's all you're getting on this one, 2-run format. So an 81 even for Tommy G into 3rd place for the Belgian rider, Tommy G. And
nice
thumbs up.
work, Thomas Janon.
So Janon will go on up.
Yeah, we got some enthusiasm out there.
Looked like a New Zealand gang or something right there.
Don't mess with those guys. Oh, jeez. It just keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, when I said earlier today 20 of the best free riders in the world, that I was not stuttering on that one. These are 20 of the best free riders in the world, and Anthony Mazzeri is coming up next, and he made a name for himself with a third-place finish at 15 years old. Took a big win last year and laid us out, and here goes Anthony Mazzeri.
Starting off with a backflip tail off the step down, getting all the pedals in. Can he clear that thing and keep this train rolling? So much speed into that. Step up with the cork 720, but not corked enough. Unfortunately, falling down, luckily, kind of sliding right out of that one. He'll be going back up to the top, Brad.
Yeah, unfortunate turn of events for him right there, but not tricking that second feature right there. And we looked at the only one we see not trick a feature and get a decent score. That, you know, that went to Nikolai Rogatkin, who got the 77.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. You know, it's kind of rolling the dice when you decide to start out with a backflip tail, but the reward can be so high out of that start tower. You know, you got to get both feet right on the pedals in order to carry the speed. And he was able to get the train back on the tracks, which was really impressive, but slightly, you know, just off axis on that cork 720. Wasn't able to get it back down to the wheels.
So he's going to make his way down to the bottom of this course, and all he can do is, as they would say, is the old cliche, put all your eggs in one basket and count on that second and final run.
I'm really stoked that he got the pedals on that flip whip, though, because, you know, he's got something that he's cooking right now, and we only got a glimpse of it, but I can't wait to see his second run.
Well, me and you talked about it. You were telling me the other day, of course, 9 trickable features out here, and you got to have something pretty much for all 9 of them.
Absolutely.
And so we'll see him finish up. Our next competitor is getting ready to go. Brett Reeder on the way, and we have yet to see Brandon Semenuk. So this is just kind of a warm-up one for him. So that'll do it for Mazzeri. Now we head on straight up for the crowd. He'll have one more to do. Now we send him up to 21.66. He'll look to improve on that, put him in 18th. I'll tell you.
Who do we have next?
Yeah, we got Brett Reeder. Tell me a little bit about this guy right here, Cam.
Oh, man, Brett Reeder. He came out swinging in his career. I remember just watching him going, no, this guy is going to just shape up to be one of the best. You could just tell he had all that it takes. And he's won diamond events now.
Right now.
As you can tell, you know, there's a lot of nerves involved in putting together one of these runs, but he has the composure. I know it's deep within him there, and he's dropping in.
Here we go. Brett Reeder, run number 1.
Backflip tail up once again.
Bam!
Brett Reeder landing perfect off that start step down. Cork 720 on the dirt-to-dirt right hip. Come on. Backflip, tail whip. Opposite tail up on that cannon. Oh, this is ridiculous. He's got to hold it together. Double truck on the hip. Opposite truck going up with the flat drop backflip. Brett, this is looking great. He's going tail whip on the long and low into the moneymaker. Backflip bar spin to stretch, tuck no hander. Oh, he may have been nervous, but he stomped it.
Yeah, if you heard him up top saying, I am so freaking nervous. Well, you talk oppo tail whip. What do you mean by oppo tail whips with people who don't understand?
You know, we try to explain how difficult opposite tricks are, and the only way I can describe it to people who don't ride bikes is try to sign your signature well enough on a piece of paper that your credit card's not going to get declined with your opposite hand. Like, you got to be kidding me. So he's doing that off of difficult features. I would love to see that backflip tail up there again and see if that may have been an opposite tail up as well. Making that flat drop flip look way too effortless and going for the combo, the backflip bar spin to really, really held tuck no hander.
All right, so the judges are doing their thing. Score to beat 89.66. That is the score to beat. Soderstrom, your leader. The comeback story for Soderstrom in the top spot. Pete in that second spot. Jeannot in the third. We talked about execution, so important. Paul Rock, head judge, breaking that down for us. Score coming in for Reeder. A 93.33. Say hello to your new leader, Brett Reeder.
Yes, Brett Reeder.
Bet he is not nervous anymore, but you saw the nerves playing into him up top. And man, let's take a look at this. Logan Pete in third place at 83.33. Martin Soderstrom, the return of Martin, an 89.66. And Brett Reeder on his first run at 93.33. One rider to go with his first run, and that just happens to be the one and definitely the only Brandon Semenuk coming up now.
Brandon who? I never heard of him.
Oh, you haven't heard of Brandon Semenuk?
No,
okay.
tell me about him.
Well, how about this? 3-time Red Bull Joyride winner. No one's ever done that before. Won Rampage in 2008. First in the FMB Diamond Series last year. First in the FMB World Tour rankings last year. It was the battle of Reeder and it was the battle of Semenuk. All year long last year. One would up the other, then the next guy would answer back all year long.
Safe to say this could potentially be shaping up the same. You never know who's going to get on top of the podium when these two battle. And we are all so lucky to be able to watch this run right now.
Dropping in, Brandon Semenuk.
Brandon Semenuk starting with a double truck driver off the step down, adding in another bar spin than most. Going for the tuck no to tail up, getting the combination deal. Oh, 360 bar spin to tail whip. Talking about combinations, every single trick so far has been one. Tail whip off the cannon. 360 downside tail whip. We're going opposite truck driver up. We're going backflip, 1 foot can down, landing a little long. Can he hold it together?
Yes.
He still clears the backflip. And finishes off with the Quark 720 bar spin. Oh no!
Putting down 99.9% of a perfect run. Let's hear it for Brandon Semenuk one more time.
Oh man, let's hear it for Brandon Semenuk. He never goes for the safety run. You knew he was going to come out swinging and try to get that top spot. You got to think that run may have been something that would do it.
And look, the first one to walk over to him, of course, Brett Reeder. These guys are good friends. They're always battling it out between each other. Teammates on the Trek C3.
This run is going to be a blast to break down here. So much happened before we're picking up the replay, but picking up with that flat drop, backflip, 1-footed can, somehow landing low, but still having enough speed to flip the next jump. And you know what? Quirk 720s were so 2014. Let's try to do a Quirk 720 bar spin.
So we'll see the score coming in. Now, it would have been a whopper if he could have put that last one down. Who knows where that would have been. I got to think that if he lands that puts him in the 90s at some point right there. So now it comes up to the judges, Paul Rack. And the boys going to punch this one in at a 55.33, so he'll be in 12th. And he is going to have one more run to see if he can up the ante. Yep. Let's take a look at how it's looking right now for you so far. Your top 5, Thomas Lemoyne in that 5th spot. Tomas Ginon in that 4th spot. Logan Pete in the 3rd spot with an 83.33. Martin Soderstrom an 89.66 in 2nd. And your leader doing it in a big way, 93.33, Brett Reeder. Wow. That is some good stuff. So we have seen all the riders taking one run, one more to go. And I'll tell you what, the format out here pretty much speaks for itself.
You know, it's a battle. Has it ever been any question whether or not Brett Reeder was going to come out swinging, Brandon Semenuk going to come out swinging? They battle so hard. I feel like having two people up on that ridiculously high level, it just pushes the rest of the competition as well. We're seeing so many people edging closer to that level.
Well, the Crankworx World Series, Crankworx World Series in full effect out here today, that's for sure.
The crowd's getting a ridiculous show out here, and they are so stoked.
And you can see the riders pumped up. See Nikolai yucking it up down there.
Got lots of hang looses going on there.
Once again, the first stop here on your Crankworx World Tour. Unbelievable stuff going on.
Is it crazy how many times? Is it crazy how many times we see similar situations play out from other Crankworx events? I mean, Brandon Semenuk crashing on the last jump. Have we ever seen that before?
Well, I think there's been a situation.
It's been a couple times, right?
But then he's come back too.
And that's why we're in for a treat.
Well, this is the first stop of 3 stops here on Crankworx, the World Tour. Cam, I am so stoked that Crankworx is a 3-stop World Tour. Rotorua, New Zealand being stop number 1, but heading to France next.
Yeah, France is always a really challenging competition. The course out there definitely favoring the riders who did their homework in the off-season, nestled high up in the Alps. That's always one you can't miss.
Well, the biggest and baddest show we're talking about, it's the Olympics of mountain biking. It's the World Series of mountain biking. You know what I'm talking about. Take a look.
Red Bull Joyride is basically like the Super Bowl for slopestyle mountain biking. The one sought after event that everyone wants to be in.
You're watching Crankworx Rotorua Slopestyle live on Red Bull TV. All right, let's send things down to Hannah Bernard, third member of our team, standing by with head judge Paul Rack.
Hey guys, yes, the judges are right behind me, and I'm standing here with the head judge of all 3 slopestyle events for Crankworx this year, Paul Rack. Now, Paul, Martin Soderstrom is in second with an 89.6, and Brett Reeder is sitting in the top spot with 93.3. What was the difference there for those guys in those scores?
Both were amazing runs, and just Brett just happened to have a little bit more variety in his runs, and just kind of killed it just a little bit more, but we'll see what happens in second runs.
What is Martin Soderstrom going to have to do in run number 2 in order to get into that top spot?
I wish I knew what's in his head for bag of tricks, but he does need to do a little bit more.
All right, well, only time will tell. Paul Rack, head judge of all 3 slopestyle events this year at Crankworx. Back to you guys.
All right, well, Hannah, thank you so much. We've seen the first runs from all of our amazing free riders out here. In round 2, run number 2 coming up for you here. A packed house indeed, and here's how it's stacking up so far. With your top 3, Logan Pete, 83.33 in that third spot. Martin Soderstrom, the return of Martin. Man, it feels good to say that, 89.66. And Brett Reeder, 93.33. So the difference is now is re-rack them, and the person with the highest score gets to go last. And that guy's going to be Brett Reeder, so that's going to put him in the driver's seat, Cam.
He's in a great position right now. I mean, going second in the first round was not a bad position by any means, but he's definitely got the upper hand here, sitting pretty coming into the round 2.
Look, that's some course maintenance going on. Course maintenance going on here to get ready things for second. So we'll kind of show you here the new order here for the second runs for all of our competitors. We talk about Brett Reeder getting to go last, but here's the guys that are going to go first. Anthony Miseria will start it off, then you go Kelly, then Simon, all the way down to Greg Watts in that 8 spot. So this is the order they're going to go in their second and final runs today. And next page, please. There we go. See, here's the difference. Brandon Semenuk now is going to have to go in that 9th spot. So by the time we get to Reeder, he'll already know what Semenuk has done. If Semenuk hasn't taken over the top spot, he's one less guy he's got to worry about, because when it comes down to Reeder, if no one else has topped his score, there you go. He's the last guy to go. With Martin Soderstrom go second last, Logan Pete, and then Thomas Genon right there. You know, so it really changes things up, Cam.
Well, Brandon Semenuk is no stranger to standing in the top spot, but he's also no stranger to standing in the middle of the pack after going for broke in a first run and having it not all come together. So he's familiar with all the situations because he's such a seasoned veteran out here, and he knows how to deal with the pressure involved with not pulling together that first run and coming out for the second one and trying to iron out all the mistakes.
Well, and then the guy's going to have to start it out, Anthony Miseria. And what an amazing, I think about Anthony Miseria last year, coming out there and got 3rd place, got up on the podium at Red Bull Joyride, but took the win in Crankworx. It's a slopestyle in Les des Alpes in France. And that was the first big win of his entire career, was last year in France.
I definitely think he's been maturing a lot as a competitor. He started when he was so young. His first Joyride, he was 15, and he landed on the podium. So it's hard to get back up there after you get your first podium finish. So he's had to do a lot of just, you know, tactics, strategizing, prioritizing how you train, and it seems to be working for him. He did it last year.
But it was 3 years from that time that he got on the podium and really made a name for himself, got the big Red Bull sponsorship on him that year, and then it was 3 years, and he hadn't had a win, and he hadn't got back on the podium. Then he comes out and shows everyone, hey, that wasn't a fluke, man. I'm Miseria, I can throw down, I'm a talented rider, and he comes away with the win in France.
Sometimes it takes that long to mature and just figure out how to do that consistently. Doing it once is one thing, but doing it consistently takes a great deal of dedication.
Well, and you got to like it. The FMB Diamond Series is something that really came in strong, and they did it last year with the FMB Diamond Series coming in. A big thing, and then this year, 5 stops on the FMB Diamond Series. You got 3 that is Crankworx, and then, of course, you got Prime Line going on, and then you got Red Bull Rampage. So 5 big diamond stops this year, and 3 of them are Crankworx.
Yeah, it represents a good scope of the sport. 3 top-tier slopestyle contests in there with the Crankworx Series.
All right, so here's Anthony Miseria. A little bit of adjustment right now. And you can see him, you see him cleaning off the bottom.
You know what's
of his
going
shoes.
on there is like, you know, it's been raining this morning and it's a bit greasy on the course. You heard people commenting on the grease. You hear people commenting on the wind a little bit. You can't do anything about the wind, but with the grease, you can kind of knock the dirt off your tires and get the dirt off your feet.
And you see him asking for a little bit of a drier piece right there, just so he can kind of clean off those shoes. because you definitely don't want those slipping up, especially with all the big tricks that these guys are throwing down.
Everybody, you know, make sure you remember we got a second run coming up. That's only halftime, and if that show was entertaining for you, make sure you stick around because the second round is going to be even more ridiculously tantalizing.
So now Anthony Mazzari, his helmet fastens right there. This will be his last opportunity, and I like what he came out with. He came out solid, and when a big trick off the bat, that's what the judges want to see. You're not waiting to get your biggest stuff off the bat. He came out, then he kind of got lost after that second hit.
Yeah, he's been practicing as a mature athlete as well. Like, I have seen him flip that step down out of the start gate before and stomp it clean. It's at Cork 720 where things went wrong for him on the third feature, that gigantic step-up jump. And, you know, that's a jump where we really see him shine because, you know, he's the poster child for amplitude, and that jump is a 12-foot tall lip. You're in the air for a long time. You just got to know what to do with it.
Well, this is the official kickoff here of run number 2. Here comes Anthony Mazzari. Final run here for today.
Anthony Mazzari going once again for that backflip tail, landing perfect, getting right on the gas, carrying the speed over that second feature, and this is the jump we want to see him on right here. Cork 720, can he land it? Oh no, not another slide out. Oh, man.
Not to be for Anthony Mazzari here today, a heartbreaker for him.
You know, you can't feel bad when you go for it. If you kind of left something out there on the table, then maybe you'd be bummed about yourself, but he went for it, and he knew what he had to do. It's just a matter of getting it done.
And you can see the frustration in him, but you know what? How do you shake that off going into your next competitions?
Like I say, you know, he's starting to be seasoned, and he's been in this situation before. He's messed up a ton of runs. He had a great run last year at numerous occasions, but, you know, a couple seasons ago, he was having a hard time just getting a result, getting down the course. So he's been here before, and he's come back from it. He knows what to do, and he'll be back up there.
Yeah, indeed, right there. And you'll have to look for him. And our Diamond Series, when we go to Ladies Alp, will be the next Diamond Series stop, as well as Prime Line 2 as well. So look for him to show us stuff out there. But today, the opportunity is for 19 other riders to try and upset the balance between our top 3 spots here to get on the podium.
You learn so many different lessons as a competitor out here. One of them is how to make a plan that you can actually execute, and then once we get to Lady Alps, he's going to have to figure out how to defend a title. That'll be a first for him, defend a diamond title out there.
Yeah, indeed, yeah, because when we go into Ladies Alp, he's the defending champ for winning that thing last year. So unfortunately, you just got to shake it off, don't you? All right, so now the man has been so instrumental in putting this amazing course together. Here he is right now, Kelly McGarry. Excited to see him come down. Magaza looking for a good one here.
Yeah, we saw in his first run, he was doing he was pulling out all the stops on that second jump, and I have a feeling we're going to see that again here.
All right, so Kelly McGarry dropping it, second and final run.
Kelly McGarry backflip off the step down, coming into his favorite jump with a huge front flip landing, absolutely perfect. 2 tires at the same time. Backflip, he stomps it this time. That's where he had trouble last time. Making it further on the course than he did in his first run of the bar spin on the cannon, right into a 360 on that hip. We're into the on-off box with a tuck no-hander. Carrying speed down into the final 2 jumps. He's flipping that jump. That is so difficult to flip there. And a big 360 going for the tangle on the final money booter. Let's hear it for Kelly McGarry.
Magaza, nice, Magaza in the house. A full pull one more time for the guy putting this course together. Let's hear it for Kelly McGarry, Rotorua.
Oh man, such a crowd favorite out here. He's been the world's ambassador to New Zealand, just representing this amazing country well, and it's awesome that we're able to have a contest here on his home turf.
Yeah, let's take a look at it here. There's Kelly going to work.
You know, that jump is so ridiculously hard to flip. The lip is really mellow, and it's super long. It's the longest jump on the course. I know everybody's clicking up in their gear just to have enough speed to clear that jump. And to flip it, you need a little bit more speed. So the fact that he's flipping that thing means he's using all of that stature to carry speed.
So Kelly McGarry bumping it up to a 55, and that's going to put him in the 13th spot. Let's hear it for Magaza one more time. Kelly McGarry out here, second and final run. So instrumental in putting this baby together. I just want to thank Kelly McGarry. Give him a high five when all this is done.
Absolutely. It's so cool to come out here and see that. You know, we've been hanging out with Kelly for so long, such a chill guy, and that's apparently a nationwide trait out here. Everybody having a blast on the side of the slopestyle course today.
Simon Page is now coming up. He's going to be our next competitor. He comes by way of France. one of our younger dudes out here. We got 3 18 years old, Howie. Anthony Mazzeri, 18 years old. And here comes Simon Page's second final run for him.
Simon Page is looking to brush some stuff up from his first run, starting out with a backflip, going straight into the tuck no-hander. Step up jump with all that air time. He's going to use that for a backflip bar spin, it looked like. All right, we got the 360 out of the cannon.
Yeah.
We're going right along with a similar run that he had before with that tail up. Let's see if he can iron out the mistake he had before. He's going to skip that bar spin, keep it safe off the drop, and just carry the speed into that really long 40-foot jump with a tuck no-hander. One last opportunity for a huge trick here, a backflip tail whip. Right onto the pedals. Great way to finish that run. A whole lot better than the way the first run went for Simon Pages.
Yeah, you know what? And that's what you got to feel good about, getting that one in there, getting that under your belt, getting a full pull from top to bottom. So we'll take back a look at this, the replays here. Simon Pages here.
So, you know, he had that same smooth style that he had in his first run, but luckily he was able to iron out that mistake. Here we're looking at where he had a mistake the first run of the bar spin. He opted to not throw the bars on that one just to make sure he was going to make it to the bottom of the course. And he finished strong.
So the score to get up in the top 3, you got to beat an 83.33. There we go. Those are the scores you got to try and get above, the 83.33. Soderstrom in that second spot with the 89.66. And boy, the only score we've seen in the 90s is Brett Reeder's 93.33. So 49 for him, and that's going to wrap Simon up in that 15th spot right there.
But a great showing, you know, coming out here on the Diamond Series. It's so tough to even get here. Now putting together a run, getting to the finish corral. It's a big step in his evolution as a rider on this tour.
Well, you got to start somewhere. I'll tell you what, you couldn't do it without some of our great sponsors out here, and you got to get up to SRAM and what they mean to, of course, mountain bike and, of course, to Crankworx as well. Big, big part of Crankworx. Give it up for SRAM on that one for sure. And just an amazing look at this, and we got people loaded all over the field.
Who do we got here, Brad?
Yeah, well, speaking of SRAM, we got the man that is Cam Zink.
Look at that. You see that tape on his finger right there.
Hey, Ayla. Love you, Amanda. Love you, Ayla.
Saying hi to his fiance and daughter there. He's a family man, still competing out here on the tour.
Yeah, pulling the heartstrings right there. Cam Zink. So he's trying to beat an 83.3 for third, an 89.66 for the number 2 spot, or a 93.33 for the top spot.
There he is, going through the motions right there. You know what he's thinking because we saw his first run. What he wants off that third jump, I know he can get it because I saw him land it in practice. He landed it a couple times in practice and kept going, so he knows he's got it. We know he has it. It just comes down to executing when it counts.
Such an amazing rider to watch, and this is going to be his second and final run today to see if he can get himself into podium position. He was second at Rampage last year in 2014. He's a former Joyride Slopestyle champ back in 2010, second in 2011. And here he goes right now, second and final run for Cam Zink.
Right on, get it, Zink, coming out of the gate with the front flip, a move that has taken him to the top step before. Missing trick on the next jump, but that's all right. This is the one that he wants the most, the Cork 720 on the third jump, pull. Man, the crowd reacting to that. A little bit under rotate, a little bit under clear. But he's up. Let's hear it for him, everybody. Cam Zink. You know, Cam Zink, he knows what it takes to get on the top step of that podium. He's done it before with tricks like that front flip on a similar feature in Whistler a few years ago. But it's 2015, and man, 2014 was all about the Cork 720, so he's been working hard at Woodward Tahoe trying to get that, but bringing it out to a jump that size, there's not really anything you can use to train for a jump like that on this course.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to get to the breakdown on Red Bull TV, you got a heat analyzer, the event analyzer, heat analyzer. You can break it all down, the tricks, the runs, you can break it all down for you. It's your event analyzer on Red Bull TV, and it's a plethora of mountain bike coverage on Red Bull TV.
There we go, Cam Zink doing it for the crowd.
Yeah,
let's hear it. He's coming down to that finish corral. He's gonna get down there one way or another, and he's tricking on his trip down to the bottom. Now, this is truly for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Backflip, Superman Zink grab! Oh. You know, he came all the way here and he wanted to get that off his chest.
All right, well, it's time to check in with Hannah Bernard with the course report for us. Hannah, what's going on?
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I have been chatting up the guys down here, harassing them a little bit, asking them to tell me a little bit more about the course. A few of them are saying that there's about an 8-foot line, that if you get out of that, you're hitting the slippery soil, and they're still accrediting a few of their falls to the sogginess of the soil, so unfortunate for that. But you know, we see a few clouds rolling in, but hopefully this New Zealand sun will hold out for us. Guys, back up to you.
Well, yeah, and thank you so much, Hannah, for breaking that one down for us. And a lot of you who are watching this right now, we had so much rain when we got here. It was a torrential downpour, and that does affect the course a little bit, doesn't it, Cam?
You have to think about the fact that it was dry all day during practice throughout the week, and now they're doing tricks, so they're more likely to go from side to side. The soft stuff, the wet stuff is on the sides, it's not in the middle, and they're more likely to end up there now. So they're just trying to paint a straight line down this course.
So now we go. Louis Rabot had a big crash. See if he can clean things up. Run number 2.
Louis Rabot, he's back in action. The guy's man of steel. Big tail up on the second feature, hanging up a tiny bit, recuperating the speed and going for that cannonball, the tuck no-hander, putting his hands on the seat while his feet are off, and then getting back and taking his hands off. Once again, 360 off the cannon, cork flat spin on the hip. He's into the on-off box. He's got a bar spin for you, right into a perfectly executed 360. The long and low is going to be a tuck no-hander, and he's got one more chance to stomp a trick. Backflip tail whip.
Yeah! Louis Rabot, the pressure off his back right there. Had that crash on run number 1, but comes out and lands run number 2,
What
Cam.
an animal. I can't even believe he got back up to the top of the course after that ridiculously hard under-rotated backflip on the largest jump on the course. He's a man of steel.
Yeah, it was like almost he's scorpion on that first one. Taking a look here.
Look at this, looking like nothing even happened. He's putting the pedal to the metal, having that 360 off the drop. And after a run like that, it feels really good to get the tail whip clean into the finish corral. I'm just surprised that he was able to even get back up to the start of the course, not to mention putting together a smooth run like that.
Indeed. So we'll see what the judges think of that. Remember, the scores to beat right now is Logan Pete is in third right now with an 83.33. So if you're trying to beat Pete out of that third spot, that's what you got to beat. And if you're trying to take over that second spot, you need to beat an 89.66 for second or a 93.33 with Reeder in that top spot. So we're waiting for it to come in, and that's going to be a 66 even. And Louis Rabot will go to the top 10. 10th place for Louis Rabot. Well, right now we are in run number 2 going on, and this is how it's stacking up so far with just about 14 more riders to go. Logan Pete, as I was saying, 83.33. He is in third. Martin Soderstrom back with 89.66, and Brett Reeder with a 93.33. That is going to be tough to beat, Kel.
You know, it's super reminiscent of Crankworx Whistler last year, where Brett just had that really big run in the 90s in the first round. Tyler McCall is going to be up next here. My brother, guy that I've known for our entire lives. Well, I guess the first 3.5 I didn't know him, but I got to know him pretty quick after that. Tyler McCall dropping in with a nice backflip off the step down. Carrying tons of speed over that second jump. This is his favorite jump on the course right here with a big backflip bar spin to table, getting the variation, squeezing as many tricks in as he possibly can. Tabletop off the cannon log. He's got the smooth tail whip on that hip. On-off box is going to be 1 foot at X up on, and now just carrying speed down into the long dirt-to-dirt 40-foot jump with a tuck no-hander. Last trick's going to be that super flip once again, rotating a little bit. Luckily sliding down there in the finish corral. Let's hear it for Tyler McCall. He's up and running.
That's got to be a big pleasure for you, setting up here in the booth, announcing your brother.
You know, it just feels so good to see him get to the bottom, and he's not hurt. Last year he had a really bad injury. He had surgery, and he's just now coming back after months and months of rehab. So it's really hard to get back on that horse and put together a contest run, but you know, he shook off the nerves, and here he is at Crankworx Rotorua pulling it off.
He's not 100%, definitely after the injury, so he is on the comeback trail.
It's a building event for him, confidence-wise. It's really tough to come back from those, especially when you don't have a full off-season to do it. Coming down here to the Southern Hemisphere, where we can have a contest now in March, and less time to rehab, but more time to just kind of get the head game in the right place early, get a head start on the 2015 season.
Well, 5 diamond stops, and he'll look to France to kind of mix things up and see as that ankle, that foot and ankle gets stronger. It's just going to help him out. He's going to get better as the season goes along. Carson Storch now is up for you next, and Storch, We said it earlier. He came out as soon as that rain cleared. He was out there with a shovel, getting some work done on this course. This shows you what a competitor is, and he just wanted to make things safe. So here he is. It's going to be his second and final run today, looking to put in a solid one. Give it up. Here he comes. This is Carson Storch.
Carson Storch has been training so hard for this competition. Truck driver on the step down, getting on the gas, 360 in that long second jump. Taking his speed straight up into the air with a backflip tail up. Oh no, he's going to lose his speed, and that's a part of the course where, well,
ghost ride that baby right off there.
Yeah.
And a little yard
He
sale.
said, if I'm not going to be able to catch air off this thing, at least my bike's going to be able to.
Yeah.
So that's actually the one part of the course where you have to grab a couple pedals to be able to make it over that.
Land like that?
Yeah, he's ready to work on it right there. If he had a flat tire, he'd be able to grab his wrenches, tire levers, and just perform CPR right then and there. So let's take a look back here. He's had that truck driver off that step down, same as his first run, really hard, high scoring. And 360 that long dirt-to-dirt right hip is definitely something that's going to tally up the scores, but casing a flip whip and not having enough speed to carry on is definitely something that can bring your run to a screeching halt.
You know, you talk about truck driver, to the people who might not understand, why do they call it truck driver?
360, you know, you're rotating a 360, but you're also throwing your handlebars and your front wheel around a 360-degree rotation as well. So one of those things that's a variation where you're doing multiple tricks at the same time. And that backflip tailwhip is another example of a variation. It doesn't have a clever, cute little nickname like truck driver. I'm not sure exactly where that came from. But variations is the name of the game here. Truck drivers, backflip tailwhips, 360s off the drops. Obviously, he's comfortable enough to do that in his, you know, just a little fan lap here just for the audience. A backflip tailwhip getting redemption. That's one of the tricks that he does every session, so I know he's going to beat himself up a little bit casing that backflip tailwhip on the third jump, but getting instant redemption on the last jump here in his little victory lap, it's definitely got to help the confidence.
Well, here we are in round 2 of a 2-run format for all of our riders, and here's how it's looking so far with, looks like 12 more riders to go with their second and final runs. And Logan Pete still holding on to that third spot with that 83.33, 89.66. For Martin Soderstrom in the second spot, and Brett Reeder with the 93.33. He's the man to beat right now with that big score. And we got Greg Watts coming up, and then followed by Brandon Salmonuk.
Greg Watts, I've had the luxury of growing up riding bikes with this kid. He won Crankworx Whistler in 2009. And you know, he's just trying to get back up on that top spot. He's been training super hard. He's got a slopestyle course in his backyard. He's ready to put it down.
Well, here we go. Dropping in for his second run, Greg Watts.
Greg Watts with that backflip suicide. So tough. You have to stop the front brake mid backflip. Going for the straight suicide on the second jump. Backflip, bar spin to bar spin back on the step up. Spinning the bars both ways while backflipping. 360 suicide no-hander.
Nice.
Having to stop the front wheel for that as well. Throwing the bars the opposite direction on that cannon. X up onto the box. Another bar spin down off of it, tricking absolutely every feature. There we go, just carrying along with the suicide. And a backflip bar spin to X up to cap off Greg Watts.
That's the run. He's looking to get one under the bush. Let's hear it for Greg Watts, wrapping it up there. Run number 2 for him.
Man, look at that. He's stuck. The degree of difficulty, some of the tricks that he was doing out there, like let's talk about a backflip suicide on the start step down, for example. You have to flip and touch the front brake and then take your hands off, because if you don't, that front wheel is going to spin. The bars will do a bar spin on accident. Lots of nice classic Greg Watts suicide no-handers. That's when you throw your hands behind the bike. And finish it off with that backflip bar spin to X up, just getting 3 tricks in one, flipping, bar spinning, and going with the X up.
So Greg Watts, a former winner of Crankworx. We'll see where he stacks up with the rest of the guys.
You know, it's just got to feel great to get in that finish corral. And that run was so great that he's going to be sitting on the plane feeling good.
Yeah, and he's a guy who's had to battle some serious injuries in the past too. So it's like, just to come down, you're in one piece, you finish both your runs. No matter where you finish off, that's got to feel pretty good to be Greg Watts right now. Well, where is he going to come into the mix right now? He's going to check in. So a better score, lucky number 13 with a 56 for Greg Watts. And that is going to wrap it up for him. Safe and sound, Greg Watts. So there's how it's looking. Logan Pete still with the 83.33, finds himself in that third spot. You have Martin Soderstrom in the second spot with an 89.66, and your leader doing it on his first run at 93.3 for Brett Reeder. Well, you talk about Crankworx, of course, slopestyle being the crowning jewel of all the events going on at Crankworx, but there is a ton of other events going on, and take a look at this right here, what I'm talking about. Oh man, it's just so exciting being in the first diamond stop of your FMB young season this year, the 2015 season. But it's time to check back in with Hannah Bernard with more. Hannah?
All right, thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm still down here at the bottom of the finals jump of the Crankworx Rotorua slopestyle. I've been chatting with a few of the guys that have finished their second run and asking them, we got 12 riders left to come down. We're wondering who is going to take Brett Reeder with a ride for his money. Some of them are saying that Nikolai Rogatkin might be able to do it. He has a few big tricks up his sleeve that he was trying in practice, so if he can pull those off, he might take that top spot. If not, that good old rivalry between Brandon Semenuk and Brett Reeder will be the continued rivalry. All right, back up to you guys.
Well, this is where the next rider is. We're talking about Brandon Semenuk now. We re-rack it, so now he's going to go now. Brett Reeder is still going to get to go last since he's got the best score, and it's Brandon Semenuk who's coming up next. But take a look at this. Here's our first page of how it's looking so far with Logan Pete, Martin, and Brett and your top three. Now bring it back down. There you go. You can see Semenuk down in that 14th spot. That's not a spot that he's used to being in, Cam.
You know, but it kind of is. He's used to being in that first place spot, but having the strategy of Brandon Semenuk, it's go for it every single run, try to win. So sometimes you find yourself in the middle of the pack going into the second run. And he's done it before. He's not afraid to do it again. I got butterflies to watch this run. No stranger to the pressure.
The only one to have ever won Red Bull Joyride 3 times. Here comes Brandon Semenuk, final run.
Brandon Semenuk with the truck driver off the step down. Missing trick on the second jump. That's not something you see very often. He missed the bar spin on the first jump. You know what? It looks like there may be something wrong. This is not something we see very often.
Not sure what happened right there with Semenuk. But he is going to exit the course.
Well, let's kind of break down what we saw there, Brad. We saw Brandon coming off the start feature, and he did miss a trick that he got in the first run. He had a double truck driver, which is a 360 with 2 bar spins on that start tower step down in the first run. This time, he missed 1 bar spin. I think we're going to be able to take a look at this right now.
Let's see if we can see right here, maybe what went down. Here we go.
So 360, 1 bar spin. He was looking for a second one, but maybe his spin was slightly on a different axis than he was hoping. He had his pedals. Looks like he was going to continue this run. He had been doing a tuck no-hander to tail whip. Perhaps he just didn't have the speed. I'm not sure. Maybe there's something we just can't pick up on the screen here watching the video. But for whatever reason, he decided to call that run right there.
Yeah, just maybe we can get another angle here and take another look and see what possibly taking a look right here.
You know, everything was good here. He's so good at keeping his composure. Missing 1 bar spin isn't something that's gonna pull him off his game. But right here, he was doing the tuck no-hander to tail whip. Maybe he just had to push so hard to be able to clear the gap that he wasn't able to put the bars in the lap, take the hands off, and then get that tail whip.
And how tough is that for you as a competitor when you don't get the trick to exactly what you need? How do you shake that off, Cam?
You visualize your run so many times in your head, you know, all day long in your hotel room while you're eating dinner. It never stops. It's just continuously playing out in your head. And when something happens that didn't go exactly how you planned, it's kind of hard to regroup. But Brandon Semenuk is the best in the game at regrouping, so I got to feel like there's more to the story.
Yeah, and we're not going to be able to find out. We'll have to just talk to him about that and see what was going on right there. But still, they're taking a look at it right now, top 5. Lemoyne in the 5th spot, as you know, in the 4th spot. Pete in 3rd, and then Soderstrom still return to Martin back in that 2nd spot, 89.66, and Brett Reeder at 93.33 in that top spot. Wow. All right, let's check in with Hannah. What's going on, Hannah?
Well, guys, it's a bit of a split personality down here. We got rain on one side, sun on the other. I don't know if this is a common thing here in New Zealand. We see a few dark clouds rolling on by. We're hoping that they're going to stay away. Just a few more riders to come down. We're going to hope that the rain holds off. Back up to you guys.
Hannah Bernard, thank you for that update right there. And once again, it's Mother Nature, so whatever Mother Nature is going to give us, we'll see what that goes on. But still, we got 10 more guys.
Imagine being one of those 10 guys right up there who still get to take their second run, seeing Brandon Semenuk not complete his second run. I mean, that's dodging a huge bullet for any of the other riders who are gunning for that top spot.
All right, I'll tell you what, Skyline Bike Park, this is an amazing place, one of the best in the world. But another place, one of the best in the world, has got to be the Whistler Bike Park. And you got to love what Whistler Mountain Bike Park is all about. Cam, you've spent many, many hours in this bike park.
It's the mecca. If Rotorua is the epicenter for New Zealand mountain biking, then Whistler's got to be the epicenter for the world of mountain biking. The entire world of mountain biking flocks there every summer. We have been doing so since about 2004. It's something that you can't miss. If you've never done it, maybe hop on a plane. If not, just log in and watch the fiasco online.
Well, and also it's the birthplace of Crankworx when it comes right down to it. I mean, the birthplace of Crankworx, and Crankworx is such a major event now, and the birthplace is, when it comes down to it, Whistler.
And it's also the birthplace of slopestyle. They were the first people to say, hey, you know what, that works in snowboarding, that works in skiing. Let's try to get these knucklehead mountain bikers out here, build a course out of dirt, and see if we can do the same thing.
Indeed. All right, man. Well, Slopestyle Triple Crown dates, if you're wondering how those are going to break out, well, they're right in front of your very own eyes right now. This is one you're experiencing here in Rotorua, New Zealand. And July 11th, Les des Alpes, France. We'll take it up to the Alps. And August 15th, we'll be in Whistler. And if you're joining us online, you can also go to Red Bull TV if you're watching right now. If you want to see the event analyzer, if you're just joining us right now, go to Red Bull TV and check the event analyzer. It'll break it all down. You can find out trick for trick what everyone has done to get to this point. That's what the world's all about now. You can get it all right there, man.
That's awesome. It's always so hard to, you know, kind of fast forward through the replay, try to find your favorite rider, but having it all set up in front of you, being able to click on a name and watch their run, definitely helping out.
Yeah, Red Bull TV handling it right there. Well, that means 10 more competitors to go and 9 more standing in the way of Brett Reeder coming away with the first Diamond Series win of the 2015 series. And I'll tell you what, for a guy who's just been going back and forth with Semenuk and taking second place to Semenuk, how important for Reeder would be to get the win out here today.
It's a great position to be in. You know, he's really excited. Yesterday was a tough day for him. He had some flu symptoms, kind of sitting in his hotel room all day. Thank goodness the competition wasn't yesterday for Brett Reeder.
You know, speaking of Brett Reeder, we're talking a lot about him, and maybe if you missed his run, let's see if we can take a look at what got him that 93.33 that Brett Reeder currently has the lead with.
Ooh, I'd love to watch that again.
Okay. Well, you
look
asked.
Look at Greg Watts having a good time watching his buddies here.
Take a look. Here we go.
So here we go. He was in the gate, talking about how nervous he was. He started out with a backflip tailwhip, which is something that only Anthony Missouri was trying as well. Went right into the Cork 720 on this jump that nobody expected to see that on, rotating 720 degrees. Going for the backflip tail up on that step up, and that was, now that we see it, that was a regular tail up. So you know he has the backflip opposite tail ups as well. He opposite tail whipped that Cannon regular 360 with 2 bar spins on the hip, and then an oppositely rotating 360 bar spin with the backflip off the flat drop, which is the thing we were talking about earlier. So hard to initiate that flip without a lip. And then finishing off with a solid combo, the backflip bar spin to tuck no hander. That's your top spot right now with a 93.33. And do you think there's anybody else out there who's got a run that can hold a candle to that?
Well, if I'm looking at, and I'm looking at the same start list that you're looking at, I see one name out there definitely, that two names actually, Martin Soderstrom and then Nikolai Rogatkin. I think those are two guys. And Logan Pete too, there's three guys. I mean, you know, okay, whatever. All those guys.
Yeah, all right, it's still anybody's game.
There's your brother right there. There's Cam Zink, Anthony Mazzari.
Slopestyle's so crazy, man. You
Yeah.
finish your run, you're just down there with your buddies, just like, hey, man, we made it. Even if you're not on the podium, you made it out of the event. That always feels great.
That's what it's like for you guys, too. When you finish a run, you're done for the day, and you're watching the rest of the guys.
That's why everybody gets along so well. It's because everybody's just hoping that that their buddy makes it through the event, and you know we can still make it to the next event together and have a blast.
Well, I tell you, we have just had so much drama with the weather coming out. Our top contenders like Brandon Selmanek being eliminated now out of the top three. Now we got Antoine Bazette, who's going to be coming up next.
Slopestyle competition always brings drama. Plenty of that out here today in Rotorua.
And so Antoine Bazette, as you can see, getting the final preparations before he gets into his second and final run.
You know what? Second run for Antoine Bazette. You got to lock your eyeballs to the screen because this guy always has some kind of crazy rotation that he holds on to as a secret. He's got a gymnastics background. You know, to carry on the theme of drama, it looks like he's kind of tinkering around with his helmet right now, getting the other riders to take a look at it. Let's listen in.
Yeah. So he doesn't have any money. Yeah. Then he goes to Osgore, you know? Osgore. Yeah. And he got a friend, it's too long, but he got a friend that have only one finger, but it's food.
I wonder what's going on down there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
All right. Well, I guess it's all good.
All right, we were trying to create some drama there, man. All right.
They heard us talking about drama. They said, all right, let's fake some drama. Oh, my helmet.
All right, so Antoine Bazette, 18th FMB overall 2014. So finishing in the top 20, very respectable finish. First at the white style last year, second in Enduro. Just off the podium at 26 tricks. So he had an amazing year. 22 years old. He's from France, doing it for Kona. Next up, Antoine Bazette.
Look at him just picturing his run, looking down the line of the barrel of that course.
And here we go, second and final run for Bazette.
Antoine Bazette on course with a backflip tuck no hander on the step down, taking his hands off while rotating a backflip. Oh no, another Ghost Rider. Oh man, we want to see the rider on the bike over that jump. You know what? I was so excited to see him on the third feature. I was just hoping he made it at least that far because I know with his gymnastics background and how much air that thing provides, we were going to see something ridiculous.
So not sure exactly what, did you see anything that I didn't see on that one?
Slopestyle is all about flow, and especially after having the rain today, stuff runs a little bit slower.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe he sent it a little bit deep. We're going to take a look here at the replay. Step down backflip, taking his hands off. Nope, he lands nicely at the top, and he didn't try to take a pedal. So I'm not sure if it's just another case of kind of just so much to think about and kind of just getting a little flustered.
But I think you also said it good with the flow, too. Flow has a lot to do with it. I think I'm going to check in with Hannah Bernard and get a report from her. What's going on? Hannah, what's going on down there?
Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, now I've been harassing the fans, asking them who they think can give Brett Reeder a run for his money. And the consensus is the big Swede, Martin Soderstrom. They think that he might be able to take it. A few other ones said Nikolai Rogatkin, again, if he can pull out those big tricks that he was practicing in practice. But only time will tell. Next couple riders coming up. Back up to you guys.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Just that right there. But, I mean, there's Logan Pete, too. He's a guy definitely who could challenge that. Yeah, Martin Soderstrom could challenge that. Don't forget Sam Pilgrim. I mean, he won the FMB overall title 2 years ago.
You have to wonder how many of these guys who posted a great score in the first run, you have to wonder how many of those runs were actually safety runs. You don't know what is a safety run and what is a go for broke run. The only people who know that is the rider underneath the helmet behind the goggles.
Yeah. You can see Sam taking it quite seriously.
The guy behind the toothless grin.
And look at that. You see the most serious guy in that mix right there. Looks like Brett Reeder, and he's the guy with the 93.33. You think he would be more relaxed, but everybody else looks relaxed. Paul Genovese now will be coming up next. He's 21 years old, out of Fernie, BC, doing it for Cro-Mag.
Paul Genovese in his first stop of the
Give me a
Diamond
thumbs up
Tour.
and I
He
can go.
finally got all the points to get
Good to
here.
go? Okay.
Oh, he's just getting the heads up, good to go. 63 on run number 1. Has him just outside that top 10, but here he comes right now. His first Diamond event, Paul Genovese.
Paul Genovese, backflip, one-footed X up off the start tower. Superman seat grab, perfect extension on the second feature, right into the step up. Whoa, tuck no-hander to tail, but plenty of time to get his feet back on the pedals. A 360 off the cannon. This is a really good run. He's got a few more features left, going for the single tail up on that hip. We saw him go double before, but we got a tuck no-hander up. And is he gonna get the truck driver down?
Yes!
He is!
Oh,
no!
Slides
That is what we were
out.
talking about. You can see visually looking at that landing, what part is dry, what part is wet. When you're trying to 360 with a bar spin off the drop, sometimes you transfer a little bit. Let's hear it for Paul Genovese going for broke.
Yeah, look at that skid mark. You can actually see it right there.
We don't even need a replay. You can picture that trick. You can see his marks where he landed. He slid right out. So much different than the practicing conditions where you could get away with going to the side a little bit.
And we talk about doing threes. You know, you got a little bit of the wet stuff underneath. So
Boom, look at this.
Break loose.
360 throwing the bars. That's a new trick for him. He landed it in practice. He's been working on that at home. He's got a similar setup, but I have a feeling his setup at home doesn't have mud alongside the landing.
All right, so the score is 31-33, so that's going to do it for him. He'll have to rely on the 63. And there's the current leader, Brett Reeder.
That is the guy to beat right now, sitting in the 90s with that 93.33, Brett Reeder.
Well, now you got the man in the tank top, the guy who also gave Sam Reynolds the haircut. Talking about Sam Pilgrim is coming up next.
It's pretty awesome to see Sam back out here at Crankworx, back on the World Tour, the champion from 2013.
And back from Great Britain. Third Joyride in 2013. First overall in the FMB. Here goes Sam Pilgrim.
He's back to full form right now. Backflip tabletop off the start, step down, going 360 click table on the dirt-to-dirt hip. Big backflip tail whip. Coming up a little bit short, but can he pedal and make it? He's not going to try. Oh, that's a heartbreaker right there. Had such a good run going. And you know he had that flat drop flip planned coming out here, but you know he had a smooth first run, so you had to go for it. No hard feelings for Sam.
It's a two-run format. It's not like you talked about earlier. There's no safety run. Two-run format. You got to lay it down, man. You got 2 runs to do it. You got to land your run.
And lucky for Sam, he did land his first run, so he had a score in the bag. So it's not a complete wash for here. But, you know, he's going to come back for the rest of the stops on the tour, the Crankworx World Tour and the FMB World Tour.
So sick.
And to see him back to full form is actually really cool. He took a bit of a break last year from some of the competitions just to regroup. There was a lot of pressure involved with winning the FMB World Tour, but you know, he's back out here looking like he's going to try to do it again.
You know, that's one of those things, man. It's just, you want the runs to be perfect. Sometimes it just doesn't always go your way, you know.
It's good to see him smiling after kind of having a bit of a mishap there too, though.
Yeah, miss a beat, lose the rhythm, unfortunately for him, but he'll
miss
just
a tooth, lose the rhythm.
Miss a tooth, and that's his signature smile right now. So Pilgrim's going to have to settle for 9th. So still in the top 10 for him with a few more riders to go. Thomas Zeta now is going to be our next one to come on in.
Click, click.
Thomas Zeta now, he is in 8th, so he's just above there. And remember earlier that he said to Hannah that there's something else that he wasn't showing us, that maybe we'll see it right here. He's currently in 8th with a 74.66. Here he goes right now.
That's right, he did. He said he had more in the tank. He wasn't going to tell us what it was. What's it going to be? 360 double bar spin off the step down. Big Superman tail getting the style points. Suicide. He's got the speed here, unlike Pilgrim. He's going to make it all the way to that cannon log with a click 360 table, flattening the bike out. Nice smooth tail up. I have a feeling he was talking about the end of the course. A 360 tail whip up, 360 down. Oh man, what does he have up his sleeve for the last money booter?
One more.
Backflip double tail whip, perfect to pedal.
Bam!
That's what he was talking about, Brad. Backflip double tail whip.
Oh my goodness.
I told you, click, 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 click. How many tricks could he fit in one jump?
That is redorkulous right there out of Zeta, just putting a solid one in there, and he's already in 8th. What do the judges do with him now? Let's take a look at this one.
Oh, after calling out having more in the tank, he threw a double truck driver, 360 with 2 bar spins right out of the gate. He was fully Superman on that tail up. That's adding style to a normal trick. He's a guy who can do that with the tail whips. He's got Superman tail whips, Superman double tail whips. And what do we see here at the last jump? Oh, a backflip, double tail whip with his big, huge, long legs dangling just for extra style points. That was awesome. Nice work, Thomas.
All right, let's see where that puts him. He's trying to beat an 83.3 for third, an 89.66 for second, a 93.33 Reader in that top spot. What is the score gonna be for Zeta as we wait the judge's decision on that score?
He is so stoked.
Waiting on scores.
Oh, yeah. Man, those legs, how long legs does he have? When he's dangling upside down doing 2 tail whips, it looks so good.
You can see Paul Rack, our head judge, looking over all these judges here, and as they're tallying the score.
They're breaking it down. They're thinking, all right, 9 trickable features. What did he do on each one? How did that stack up to the way we scored his first run? He had a great score coming out, a great run in the first round, but upping it on the last section of the course.
Yeah, to crack the podium, he's got to beat that 83.33 in that third spot. Pete's there at 89.66. Soderstrom in the second spot. Then you got that lofty 93.33 that Reader has. Score in 82.33 into 4th place for Thomas Zeta right there. Into 4th place, 82.33. So
way to go, Thomas. Moving up the ranking right there. All the way from 8th to 4th. That's got to feel great. He had more in the tank. He put it together.
And now we come down to a guy who definitely a lot of people talk about. He's been having just an amazing last couple of years. He had a super solid run, but he had 1 straight air. That 1 straight air hurt his chances of getting up on the podium and gave him the 77. Here we go. 2 first-place finishes last year. 18 years old. It's Nikolai Rogakin.
Nikolai knows exactly what to do. He starts out with a double tail up on the step down, going lawn dart fronting on the second jump, landing perfect, carrying speed. Is he going to go for that cash roll? Wow, that's like a off-axis 720 cash roll, leading with his top shoulder, going straight into the double tail up off the cannon. Can he get the triple? He got the triple! I can't believe he pulled the feet back onto the pedal. Superman C grab up, tail whip down. Oh, hold it together, Nikolai, you got this. Tuck no hander, he tricking every single jump so far. Cork 720, the last jump, landing perfect!
Nikolai Rogakin! An absolutely sick run on his second and final run.
Oh, come on!
He is pumped, Cam.
Man, dude! How does he even have enough energy to jump around like that? He did so many tricks in that run.
Oh, oxygen.
How do you breathe, Nikolai Rogakin?
Oxygen.
Look at this replay. Squeezing it for everything it's worth, getting all the juice out of that triple tail whip, Superman C grab up, tail whip down, and then I'm thinking, all right, you know, this run's going so good. He's got 2 jumps left. Hold it together, get a trick on that jump. Do not straight air. And just chuck that Cork 720.
Chuck is right.
Can you land any more perfect than that?
No, you cannot. All right, standing by with Nikolai Rogakin, Hannah Bernard. Hannah.
Nikolai Rogakin, the fans said it, some of your fellow competitors said it, that you might be the guy to knock Brett Reader off the top spot. How good does it feel to have that run under your belt?
Oh, it feels absolutely unreal. Support from these people, amazing course, sending it and pulling what you want to do. There's no better feeling, so seriously couldn't be happier right now.
Talk to me about what you said yourself before you dropped in right now.
I just tried to focus. You guys are supporting me up there, and just said I knew I could do it. So I just dropped in and had confidence, and thankfully made it happen.
Wonderful. We're waiting the score, Nikolai Rogakin, everyone. Woo.
All right, thank you so much. Trying to beat an 83.33 for the third spot, or an 89.66 for second. Nikolai Rogakin score coming in. 91.33 into second place for Nikolai Rogakin.
He is so stoked right there. Oh, man. You know, that run, just the way he constructed that run, he had the cash roll, which is a 720 degree rotation, but going off a different axis, leading with his top shoulder, kind of like starting out with a front flip, but spinning as well, and then doing it the other way, down there at the bottom, just another technique over the back shoulder.
All right, well, let's take a look at our leaderboard now that Nikolai Rogakin is just shaking it up. So Logan Pete bumped down into the 4th spot now. Martin Soderstrom bumped down to the 3rd spot. And there it is from the USA, Nikolai Rogakin jumping into that 2nd spot. Our second score in the 90s with a 91.33, but still no one has beat our current leader, Brett Reader. And there's a look at Brett right there. He's going to go last. So he is able to watch what everyone else is going to do. There's Soderstrom right there. He is in third.
Slopestyle's an interesting game, Brad. You know, you want to win the contest, but you also want to see your buddies who you know work so hard stomp their run. You want your run to be better than theirs, but you want to see them stomp theirs.
So now we take it up top for Sam Reynolds. Now Sam Reynolds, you look where he's at. He's in 8th. He's in a very respectable spot right now with a 78.33. Here comes Sam Reynolds now.
Sam Reynolds going backflip tabletop on that step down out of the start. Huge Superman C grab on the second feature. Big backflip tail up, sending it nice and deep on the step up jump. Tail up off the cannon, tricking every single feature here. We got a double tail up in the ante on the hip. Tuck no hander up onto the on-off box, 360 down. Oh, he's got that no-hander off that jump again. And he's finishing with a Cork 720. Oh, man. Oh, man.
I'll tell you what, it seems like the Cork 720 is the new black.
You know, it worked so well for everybody last year, and everybody knows for 2015, if you want to have a podium spot, it's a nice plan to have a Cork 720 in your bag.
Well, with that new haircut, he's so aerodynamic now.
I was just like, oh my God, it's right.
It was right.
Oh my God, this is right.
You know, it was great because he tricked every single feature, 3 and off that drop. No can, no hander. That's a trick that you don't see too many people doing nonetheless on a jump like that. And you know, the last 2 runs finishing with perfect Cork 720s. Is that becoming normal now? It looks so not normal, but I guess it is.
Well, and if you want the breakdown, go to the event analyzer on Red Bull TV to get all the breakdown of all the runs, all the tricks being done there. The event analyzer on redbull.tv. So yeah, that's the podium if it were to be done right now. Soderstrom in that 3rd spot, and then Rogatkin in number 2, Reeder at number 1. There's Reeder right there, but we still got 5 more guys to go to wrap things up. Reeder's looking a little bit more comfortable now, isn't he?
He's looking a little comfortable. You can't be, though, because you don't know what people have up their sleeves. But right now, he's just counting how many people are left and going, oh, I got a guaranteed pretty darn good result here.
That's the advantage of being the number 1 qualifier after run number 1. You get to go last and see what everyone else does.
And, you know, you just got to stay focused because if somebody comes out swinging and does something you weren't expecting, you got to be ready to go do something better than what you did before. And you got to know what that will be.
Yeah, copy that. So we'll see, where does he go? So Reynolds trying to beat an 89.66 for 3rd, a 91.33 for 2nd, a 93.33 for that top spot. It's only 2 points separating Reeder and Rogatkin for the 1 and 2 today.
And I love that no foot can, no hander on that 40-foot long and low there, setting up into the money booter.
And now look at these guys.
Oh, he's smiling pretty big right now, isn't he?
Well, will he make a podium position here? 82.66 into the top 5. 5th place for Sam Reynolds.
Yeah. He's gonna up his score, man. 5th place.
It was like, and if he was a Kiwi, you'd say sweet ass.
Oh, that run was sweet ass, that's for sure.
For sure. Now it's Thomas Lemoyne now is going to be up next.
Another one of our French riders riding so well here, competing in so many different disciplines.
But remember, 3rd place at the Pump Track Challenge here in Rotorua, also 4th place at the Montreal's Dual Speed and Style. He's going for the king of Crankworx, Thomas Lemoyne.
Thomas Lemoyne with that 360 bar spin. We call it a truck driver. Going 360 tuck no hander, taking his hands off while rotating on that dirt to dirt hip. Backflip bar spin on the step up. Carrying so much speed, doesn't even need to take a pedal. 360 X up off the cannon. We got a backflip tail whip, landing perfectly, connecting to the hip landing on that thing. Front flip up! Whoa, he front flipped up! And bar spun up! We have not seen that yet. Going bar spin and tuck no hander, comboing that jump. And a 360 double tail whip!
Just a slight foot down, but at the end.
360 double tail whip.
But a fronty going up.
Fronty up the up box, man. You kidding me? On off box, front flip up. That's something we haven't seen yet. We're seeing front flips on so many features here, but we haven't seen it yet. Stepping up on top of the box.
And we talk variety. Judges like to see that. Take a look. There it is.
He had perfect snap, landed, fully composed, enough to get that bar spin. And this is what was ridiculous here. He does bar spin and then takes his hand off, comboing that jump. It's hard to just do a single trick on there.
Now this is the only thing I see, just a slight little
I know, and in 2009 or something like that, that would be fine. But in 2015, you know, we saw Martin Soderstrom land in 2 feet perfectly on the pedals on that same trick. not taking anything away from it. I know that's going to be a great score.
Yeah,
it's just the level is so ridiculously high up here.
Yeah, you're right on that one. Well, now it just comes down to this. He's just got Soderstrom is in third once again. He's on the podium position with 89.66, 91.33. Rogatkin in second, and 93.33 for Reeder. Top spot, and a 77.66. So 8th place for Lemoyne right there. So he'll settle for a top 10 finish. Very respectable 8th spot for Lemoyne right there.
That run was amazing. They docked him pretty hard for having the feet off down there, but he's got to be pumped just to pull those tricks and ride away out of that run.
All right,
he's got what it takes.
Time to check in with Hannah Bernard with more. Hannah?
Hey, thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm up here in the judges booth. We got Paul Rack and the guys. As you can see, they're taking their time with a lot of these scores. It's a very tight race right now. It's about a 2-point difference between the first and the second spot. And Martin Soderstrom is coming up next. And a lot of people have said he may be the guy to knock Brett Reeder off of the top, so only time will tell. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, Soderstrom is coming up here in just a little bit. Tomas Janot is going to get the start next. Then we got Logan Pete. Then we'll see Soderstrom, and then Brett Reeder will be the last one to go. And there is a look at Tommy G. Look, you are not safe. When Tommy G is on the outside looking in, a guy who has won it at Crankworx before, he knows what it takes to get the win.
Yeah, he's got the most prestigious crown a couple years ago, so he definitely knows what it takes.
Well, here we go. Tommy G, second run.
Thomas Janon, 360 bar spin to X up, starting out this run strong, carrying the momentum with a double tail up on the second feature right into a 360 bar spin, clicking that classic Thomas Janon style tabletop. Flipping that cannon again. He's the only person doing that. That's got to be worth a lot. 360 tail up on the hip, landing in the soft stuff and taking a pedal and carrying the momentum. Opposite tail up. Big truck driver down. Wow. He landed in the middle of the landing, able to carry the speed, and now he's got one jump left for you. Let's hear it.
Sweet
another Cork 720.
Tommy G. Oh, and look, still just stone face all the way through that. Tommy G. Rotorua, let's hear it for Thomas Janon one more time.
Man, every time a run of that caliber goes down and they cap it off with a Cork 720, the crowd goes through the roof. They love that move.
And now we're taking a look at it right here. Look at this. Bam.
There we go. You saw him land a little bit on the side, but he kept his composure and kept pedaling right into that opposite tail whip. Truck driver off. We saw Genovese try to do that, but he transferred. Janon able to land right in the middle of the landing, keep his speed, and luckily so, because he wanted to show us he's got a Cork 720 as well, stomping that.
And bringing it back around. Now it comes to the score game right now. Soderstrom in third, 89.66. Our top two scores only 2 points apart. Nikolai Rogatkin in second with a 91.33. Reeder with a 93.33 in the top spot. With Logan Pete, Martin Soderstrom, and Brett Reeder still to go in their second and final runs. What is the score going to be for Tommy G here? Does he get onto the podium? Score in. Score in. A 90.33 into third place for Tommy G on the podium.
Wow.
That's the first time I've seen him smile all day.
Thomas Janon put it together, and now he finally gets to enjoy how good that run was with a big smile on his face. He's sitting in podium position.
Well, Reeder dodging yet another bullet out here, but Soderstrom not. Now Soderstrom bumped down into fourth, so he was in that third spot. So now, just to get on a podium, Cam, you gotta be in the 90s. Tommy G, a 90.33 in third. Rogatkin, a 91.33 in second. And Reeder with a 93.33 in the top spot. Pete, all the way down to fifth. He was the guy who had the lead for so long, and then Reeder came out and took it away. You got Pete now sitting there in fifth, and he had an amazing run. So what is Pete going to have to do here?
Logan Pete is looking to reclaim what's his. He's been sitting in a podium position for quite some time today. He just got bumped down a bit. The 90s Club is so prestigious. He wants to get up there and get on that podium.
Well, here we go. Logan Pete, second and final run for the Canadian.
Logan Pete, truck driver, 360 bar spin off the start. He wants that. Oh! Double tail whip went wrong. He's not going to land on the podium today, Brad.
Wow. Unfortunate turn event, but you know what? No matter how you slice it, still finishing up in 5th place. If that's where he's going to stand, and that is exactly where he'll be. Let's hear it for Logan Pete, 83.33, 5th place for him. And that's a good start to the FMB Diamond Series right there.
It just goes to show how tough it is double tail upping that jump. He made it look so casual in his first run that you thought, oh, no big deal. But in the second run, it goes to show you may not be able to do that every single run. 360 bar spin off the start tower, starting out real strong, and it looked like he just kind of missed his pedal. Yeah, he was just leaning a little bit on that double tail whip.
Well, only one rider to go, standing in between Brett Reeder taking the first win on the 2015 Diamond Series. Reeder with the 93.33. We're talking about the return of Martin Soderstrom. Soderstrom was on the podium. Tommy G just bumping him down to 4th. He was injured all of last year. It's been the return of him. He's been coming back swinging since this get-go. Can he do it here today with his second and final run? The score to beat for Soderstrom, a 90.33 to take 3rd, a 91.33 to take 2nd, or a 93.33 to take the top spot. Coming in right now for his second and final run, the big Swede. Get loud and proud for Martin Soderstrom.
It all comes down to this, Brad. He's visualizing, he's picturing every single trickable feature on this course and going through the motions of what he's going to pull off. Martin Soderstrom dropping on, starting out with the 360 double bar spin, the double truck driver. Big 360 neck, so much style. Triple tail up once again, getting to the pedals. Oh, he's on fire with the 360 tuck on hander off the cannon. Backflip tail whip once again. Yes, he's got it. Feet on the pedals. Speed carried, opposite tail whip up. 360 bar spin, nailing that truck driver down the drop. Tuck no hander. Last jump. What does he have for you, Rotorua? 360 double whip.
Yeah! Martin Soderstrom, second and final run, bringing the big guns for Martin Soderstrom.
Oh man, it's so rad to see him stomping that trick. That's the one that he had so much trouble with a couple years ago at Crankworx. He recovered, and now he's back stomping that again, twice in a row nonetheless.
Unbelievable run for him.
Let's go back and look at this. Backflip tail up on that hip, landing so smooth, and then kicking the bike the opposite direction. Once again, one of those crazy opposite tricks. So hard to do it proficiently both ways. Truck driver down, tuck no hander across. Coming right in thinking, I got one more move. I'm gonna spin once with my body, twice with my bike, put both feet on those pedals and celebrate.
Well, now it comes down to the situation. He's off the podium. He's on what we say the outside looking in. He had the 89.66, was an absolutely huge score, but just in the 4th spot. All right, let's send it down to Hannah, standing by with the big Swede.
Martin, you started off Crankworx Rotorua with the gold and dual speed and style. You have had a great performance here this week. What are your reactions to this run that you just had?
Oh, it was good. I felt like my first run was a little bit sketchy, so, well, after a year off the slopestyle scene. So, yeah, I just wanted to clean up some things and just be happy with the run.
You think this run is going to knock Brett Reeder off the top spot?
Who knows? That guy had a pretty solid run, so I would be very pleased with a 2nd place.
All right, well, the judges are making their decision, taking their time. Best of luck.
Taking other looks at it right there. So Martin Soderstrom, just to get up in the top 3, he's got to be to 90.33 for 3rd, and 91.33 for 2nd, or 93.33 for the top spot. Score in for Martin Soderstrom. And an 89, so 4th place is where he's going to end up. And so that means Brett Reeder is going to take the win out here today. Nikolai Rogatkin's going to take the silver, and Tommy G's going to come away with the bronze. And that means one thing for Brett Reeder. It's called the victory lap.
How stoked is Brett Reeder right now? He had such a rough day yesterday. He happened to come down with the flu. He spent all day in the hotel room just trying to get better. Thank goodness we have slopestyle finals on Sunday rather than Saturday, because he's going to be getting that gold medal. He won the competition today, starting out amazing. He's the only guy who has a chance to win the Crankworx Triple Crown right now, taking the first win of the season.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the best parts about slopestyle competition after you see the reveal of the winner is watching this victory lap. He's going to be so pumped, throwing whips for you down here.
Well, and you know what? playing second fiddle all last year, him and just Semenuk, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, the whole entire FMB Diamond Series. And when it all came to a fruition at the end, the Red Bull Rampage, he ended up in second, which, you know, finishing second is great. But for him, all he wanted to do was get the win. I mean, even though him and Semenuk are good friends, he wanted the win last year, and he's going to start the season off with a huge win this year.
Absolutely. He got taste of victory on the Diamond Series last year with Bear Claw Invitational. And you know, when you taste that blood, all you want to do is taste it again. And
well, here
what better way to celebrate here than a victory lap?
These guys are good friends. Here we go. He said he was going to take it easy. That's not taking it easy.
Brett Reeder laying the bike sideways. He's your champion out here today, and he's soaking up every bit of this victory lap. It's got to feel so good. There's probably nothing more fun than knowing you won a competition, coming down, doing some tricks that make you feel good with one of your buddies. These guys actually both grew up in Ontario.
Oh, man.
Somehow getting to the top of their game, coming from a place with no hills. Brett Reeder, the champion out here.
And his buddy Logan Pete finishing it off. Brett Reeder with the victory lap. Amazing stuff right here. We saw it.
You can hear everybody congratulating Brett Reeder. Everybody's so stoked to see him put it together.
Let's listen in.
All right, guys, the rise of Reeder. 4 years ago, you weren't qualifying for slopestyle. 2013, you had a back injury. 2014 in Whistler, you took silver, and now you have the gold. How sweet is that, Brett?
Yeah, it's a surprise. I mean, it's so stressful at the top, and I don't know. I think everyone felt the same, and we all did our gnarliest runs. Down at the bottom, it feels amazing to be in the first spot.
How nice is it to have your second run knowing you have the gold?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm on top of the world.
What did you say yourself before that first run up there?
I actually said to everyone else, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I did it, and I don't know. I'm so relieved right now. I'm stoked.
Well, you said at the top of the show that you just wanted to block someone from getting all 3 wins in the Triple Crown for Crankworx, and now you're the guy to be blocked. Brett Reeder, everyone, your gold medalist in the Crankworx Rotorua Slopestyle. Congratulations.
Oh, man.
You know what, that run is even better than I thought it was. I'm looking at that, you know, it takes me 3 replays to really absorb everything, but he did do a backflip opposite tail up on that step up right there. And it just,
but you know, remember you and I were sitting there talking, we were talking to him earlier, and what he was saying, he was sick, he's coming back, he was throwing up the other day, so actually this competition getting bumped a little later in the day gave him a chance to kind of heal up. He's had a pinched nerve in his back. He told me not to bring this up on the mic at all, but now that he is the winner, I feel like it's safe to bring that up on the mic. Well, there's you look at things right there for your top 3, and then there's the second page all the way down with Simon Padgett in that 16th spot, Semenuk in the 14th spot, Louis Rebull in the 10th, and then rounding it out with Mazzari in that 20th spot, Cam Zink, T-Mac, and Carson Storch right there. So good stuff indeed out here, and what a way, Cam, to get things started for your FMB Diamond Series here, and also the Crankworx World Tour to get the first one under the belt.
Yeah, can you believe this is just a glimpse into things to come for the rest of the season here? We got 2 more events on the Crankworx World Tour. Then we also have the other events on the FMB World Tour Diamond Series.
You got 5 diamond events, okay? So 3 of the diamond events are obviously all 3 of the Crankworx from here. Then you got France, then you got Whistler, but then you got Prime Line 2. That's another diamond event. And then you have the final diamond event of the season is going to be Red Bull Rampage.
Which is unlike any of the other events in the FMB Diamond Series. It's big mountain, it's gnarly. You got to have the tricks, but you also have to descend 1,000 vertical feet over vertical rocks, shale, everything in between, canyon gaps. So these guys are warming up the slopestyle right here, but if you're trying to get the points for the Diamond Series, you kind of got to be an all-around bike rider.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. That's how it plays out for her. Well, so we're going to get started. We've got the awards. You people that have been so great, stay with us right now. Got the awards. Let's get down to business here. In 3rd place here for Crankworx Rotorua, putting out a 90.33 from Belgium. Let's hear it for Tommy G. Tommy Genon. And here comes Tommy G over to that 3rd place spot. A guy who Made a name for himself getting that big win a few years ago. Finds himself on the podium yet again. That's Tommy G in third. In second place, a big second place finish for him from the USA, a 91.33. Let's get loud and proud. Much respect for Nikolai Rogatkin. And the boys hugging it out as Nikolai Rogatkin climbs. There we go. And put that silver medal around his neck. Nikolai Rogatkin, a well-deserved second place finish. And the moment you guys have been waiting for, your Crankworx Rotorua winner and the leader of your FMB Diamond Series with a 93.33 from Canada. Let's hear it for Brett Reeder. And he is, with this win, he is your Triple Crown leader for Crankworx, and a chance to win 50 G's at the end of the season, Brett Reeder. And now time for a little bit of the bubbly. Here we go. The champagne shower. Reeder struggling to get that one off. The boys tackling each other with champagne. Oh, take that one to the eye. All right, so Cam McCall, your final thoughts on our first stop out here on your Crankworx Rotorua, your Crankworx World Tour, man.
Man, if that's what we're seeing on the first stop here at the Crankworx World Tour, I am so pumped to see what the next two events have in store. Brett Reeder just soaking up the sweet taste and smell of champagne. No better feeling than popping your bag open once you get home and it just reeks of victory champagne.
Well, you know what I'm thinking about this whole thing, when it comes back, I think about Brett Reeder last year and just battling Semenuk all year long. Semenuk one-upping him and taking the big win and winning it all at the end of the season. But this year, it is about Brett Reeder taking that first big win here on the Crankworx Triple Crown here from Crankworx Rotorua. I'll tell you what, on behalf of our entire Crankworx crew, of course, the Cam McCall, Hannah Bernard, and the rest of our crew, thank you for watching RedBull.tv and Crankworx Rotorua. We'll see you in Les Deux France coming up in July. Good night now from Rotorua, New Zealand.